Yo, 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 we are live. We are waiting for the whole crew as Soccer Over There is live on a Monday. We'll be live with video here in 1 second. I was trying to time this, but I guess I'm not going to be able to pull it off. With Mr. Alifi. Running just a little late. It's okay. There we go. He'll be joining us here in a second. You know me, Jason. John has a new camera.
Woo-hoo.
Which is always dangerous.
Yes, it is.
There he is. I almost timed it right. I tried to hold it. I was trying to buy some time, and then it still didn't work.
No. Nor should you try to buy time or hold for me, man. You just got to fire the show away.
I tried, and actually what happened, just to give you the behind the scenes, so my new gimmick now is where you have the dramatic pause in the music, crack the beer right then.
Yes. Exactly.
It's good. I went a little stone cold with the beer this time, little splatter. So it was okay, got to get that. Okay, we're good. So, it happens. You've got guests.
I may have company this evening joining me. We'll see.
You might have guests.
Might have guests? So is Jackie Fresh officially a mite?
Yeah, he's hanging out for the moment. We'll see how long this maintains.
People are freaking out about John's camera. They don't know if they can deal with this. It's good times.
Oh, the shifting camera. Look at this. I don't know. I don't know if I can work with this.
I know. It's odd.
Yeah, new camera angle. Go on to camera 2 instead of camera 1.
I see. I feel like there needs to be like a Tom Cruise meltdown. People are looking at us right now. They're looking at us and you're messing it up.
Welcome to Soccer Over There.
Right on.
What's on your mind, Nick? How you feeling about Mr. Pirlo?
I mean, what's there to say about Mr. Pirlo right now?
It sounded like Andrea Agnelli had some things to say after the match, and there was a heated discussion in the locker room, according to La Stampa.
Look, if Juventus is really dumb enough to fire Pirlo, then by all means, you could feel free to fire yourselves while you're at it, because you signed up for a project. You signed up for it. Your squad is ancient. You provided Ronaldo with a series of low-cost transfers, free transfers, and a squad that should be carbon dated. And you're trying to tell me that this is all Pirlo's fault. A man who scored now keep in mind, I'm not talking about the Pirlo of Milan is gone. Like real Milan fans know. We appreciate what he did for us, but at the same time, if you read his autobiography, he really burned a lot of bridges through that autobiography, where he talked about almost joining Barcelona. And, I had pen to paper. My agent, Berlusconi, they flashed some cash and changed my mind. And I don't really care where I play. All of it, I have no historical ties to what I'm about to say. The man is Juventino. He is what he is. And can you not slam the door? Just close it. And what happens is he gets one of the highest grades ever on his exit exam. And we're supposed to do what? Think he's a moron now because he's not getting all these big wins? That's not Pirlo's fault. If you are building this club, you have to put a sustainable club together. Bonucci's not the leader. We've discussed this how many times on this show. Chiellini's retiring, right? Weston McKennie has been a revelation for this Juventus squad. And you have Dybala, whose confidence is completely shattered at this point. And what's Ronaldo really supposed to do? You have Morata, who lives in the offside position.
He does.
These are the guys who you're going to surround him with? And you're thinking it's all Pirlo's fault? That's not Pirlo's fault. That's Agnelli's. That's Paratici's fault. That's everybody else's fault that surrounds him. And for Juve to sit there and talk about heated exchanges and all this other stuff, I don't know what you want Pirlo to do.
There was also
and part of it's Pirlo's fault because he took the job.
He did. There was also a high level of tension, Nick, to add to it.
A high level of tension. You know what? I honestly don't care about the high level of tension. Every person in the scenario got what they wanted, lock, stock, and barrel, because they didn't do due diligence. They didn't have a backup plan in place, and they elevated Pirlo from who was supposed to be the B team coach and work his way up to the A-level coach. And for what? Now you're mad because he's not getting you. He didn't get you a Champions League. He didn't get you this and that. He was supposed to be the B-level coach, and he's leading your first team. That's a you problem. That's not a him problem.
But everything is supposed to be perfect from the moment that insert coach here steps onto the touchline.
Right. And well, we left him a good squad. No, you didn't. You left him a squad that had been in transition from the time that Max Allegri left. From the time that Max Allegri left, and then you brought in Sarri, and you said, oh, well, Sarri's going to be the cure to all of our ills. He's going to bring this beautiful fluid style because everyone's been complaining that we run a low block and counter, blah, 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 blah. And then, well, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So we're going to get rid of Sarri, and we're going to bring in Pirlo because he's this dynamic manager to bring the future of Juve to the forefront. Wait, now there's high tension. No, come on. It's a you problem. That's a you problem. I could go into this long-winded thing about Sun Tzu and his lessons on leadership here, but at the end of the day, if Pirlo is giving instructions clearly, and those instructions are being followed, and the execution is still not there, then the players aren't good enough to execute the strategies in place. And some of that is Pirlo having to make. But at the same time, if Pirlo, his instructions are unclear, if they don't know what they're wanting to do, then it's a Pirlo problem. I haven't seen too much out of Juve where they look completely confused. I've seen Juve where they've been overmatched. But I haven't seen where Juve looks discombobulated by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, hold up. Let's go to their goals allowed here. How many goals allowed has Juve let through here? 23 goals allowed. 23. I'm scared. I'm scared of the numbers here. That looks like the best in Serie A.
I believe that's number one. That's number one. Goals allowed. Number one.
And yet you're telling me you're telling me that Pirlo's a bum coach. No, he's a new coach. I mean, if you look at Benevento, right? Look at Benevento. Pippo Inzaghi's the manager there. When Pippo Inzaghi took over Milan, that club was discombobulated. Like he was a young manager and he had these ideas and it just didn't work. And as an older manager, he straightened it out. And now Benevento, which really is a Serie B team, is in 16th place. I mean, are they safe from relegation? No, there's a long time left in the season, but they're doing a heck of a lot better than I think people expected them to do. Because Pippo was allowed to grow. He had to do it through Serie B, through Venezia, and Benevento figured it out. He's got, he's going to be a Serie A manager for a long time to come. But if Juve blows this up, they deserve whatever comes after. If they stink and they're a mid-table team again, they deserve it. And Andrea Agnelli needs to get out of this dream world that he's in where it's, Juve needs to be number one. Juve needs to be the best. Well, then you know what? Hire an established manager. Don't bring a first-year guy in and tell me that you're expecting to win everything.
He did that last time, and he ran that guy off.
Stupid idea. Exactly.
He hired an established manager in Maurizio Sarri.
Developed ideas and had a plan. And he was supposed to grow and develop, and you didn't allow him to do that. Instead, you kicked him out the door. Yep. So you're still paying him. The man's living in Florence collecting your paychecks right now.
He's having a
because
good time.
you messed up. So what, you're going to repeat the process? Yep. Get out of here.
Anger and bitterness exploded after the final whistle.
Exploded. I mean, Nick, you mentioned Sun Tzu, one of my favorite Sun Tzu quotes. And if anybody doesn't have The Art of War in their library, they need to have it in whatever form. Trust the local guides, for they know the terrain.
Yeah. Yes. Pirlo has been a part of this thing for a long time. He was a Juve man for a long time. And he has been a part of Champions League demises. He's been a part of watching that team start to slowly age out. I mean, he knows what the deal is. You got to give the man time to work. And they really need to, in this transfer window coming up in the summer, they need to make some serious upgrades, not big, stupid name signings, but they need to go through and they need to get solid midfield help. People that they can put around, and U.S. men's national team fans buckle up, that they can surround Weston McKennie with and help strengthen that midfield. Because right now, Rabiot is not it. He's not going to be the man who's going to get you to the promised land, right? And Dybala he's worth money. You could sell him and let that man get a fresh start. He needs it. There's just so much work that needs to be done. You got to get rid of Ronaldo's salary. You've got to free up numbers. And if it means you have to pull an AC Milan and you have to strip the thing down to the studs and rebuild it, then by God, that's what you got to do. And you're going to stink for a couple of years. But this is all Juve. This is a monster of Juve's own making. Mm-hmm. And this is why whenever fans and Atlanta United fans, I wait your hate mail. When you say, well, why couldn't we keep this player for, almost like a baseball contract? Because when they start losing a step, it goes from losing one step to 5 steps very quickly. And you have to get rid of them while they still have value. And so you can get something back. And you can do this with Juve. If you can do this with some of the players you have. You're not going to be able to do it with Ronaldo. You just got to let Ronaldo go and let him pick his own pasture to retire in. It's not going to be Inter Miami. But
there's a lot of people saying it.
Hey, that's great. If he can magically make the federal charges against him go away, I'll completely co-sign it with you. But those federal charges are still out there.
No, he probably could with a lot of money. Not to the feds, but to the person who is involved in this.
Yeah.
Right. But
I think he already tried.
Is that his legal team is not going to let him step foot into this country where he can immediately be hauled into court, federal court, and put in front of a camera for a deposition. It's not going to happen. So you can look anywhere else around Europe you want. I don't think it's happening with Miami yet. So, but Juve has a lot of work to do, and I think they need to follow the Milan model and blow it up and get young players who they can build and develop around.
They got to have some patience, and they haven't really shown the ability to have much patience. And it's an interesting one in Serie A when you look big picture, because next season you could have an Inter side that has to have a fire sale because they're broke at the end of the season after they win the title. You could have Milan in a pretty good position, but Zlatan's getting older. I mean, is he going to be able to do the same things next year again?
Right.
At some point, that's going to run out, and then what?
Right.
Juve doesn't feel like a championship team right now, but maybe they make the moves in the offseason. Atalanta's Atalanta. I mean, they're good, but are they a Serie A winner right now? Napoli? Is Gattuso going to be there next year? Roma? You go down to Lazio, like 7 teams. It feels like next season could be all over the map when it comes to Italy, because if Inter has to have the fire sale that it seems like they're going to have, I don't know who's the favorite in Italy next season.
And here's the thing. Max Allegri has said he wants to come back. Get what you're going to get out of that thing.
Max Allegri's like, somebody hire me, please. I'm bored. I'm tired. Give me a job.
Because the thing is that he was in England allegedly learning English. Obviously, the England gigs did not work out for him. No. But he says he's going to be back this summer, which means it's most likely going to be a team in Italy. Friedkin, the owner of Roma, has said that people in his org have time and time again whispered to the reporters that it's no big secret they want Max Allegri. Fonseca has not done anything to solidify his job security because he keeps losing to the big boys in Serie A. It doesn't matter how much you can beat up on the minnows if you can't handle the big boys. And I think Friedkin wants a model that's proven, and that's Max Allegri. And it's not the prettiest game in the world, but it's going to get you to where you want to go. And I think you're 100% correct that next year, the teams that are going to be in the greatest amount of flux it's going to be Milan, it's going to be Inter, and Napoli. It depends on who they bring in. but that squad needs some work as well. But Zlatan, I what he has done this year has been nothing short of incredible. I mean, talking about a man in his late 30s going to the Euros. I mean, that's bonkers. The goals that he's still pulling off. If you saw this past weekend, the goal that he had where he broke away from the defense, it just looked like the entire defense stood still. And like Zlatan had this 5-yard burst and put the ball in the back of the net. And I was like, wait, hold up. How? And they went back and they looked. Nope, not offside. Got it right in. He still has these moments of brilliance, but you can't bank on him to be the competitive fire that is required for Milan to run. And Milan is going to have issues with Brahim Diaz, whether or not if Real Madrid's probably going to want him back. Hakan Kanaglu, he wants a long-term deal. Are you going to be able to secure that? Mm-hmm. Frank Kessie, people are going to come knocking on the door for Frank Kessie, and he is the engine room for this club. Tomori's been incredible, but by keeping Tomori, you're blocking Romagnoli. Is Romagnoli going to want out? So Milan's going to be as a club, and I said it in the DMs, I don't think Milan is probably going to make Champions League, even sitting in second now, because they're 1 or 2 injuries away and a positive COVID test from having this whole thing going sideways.
They're 6 points clear, though.
I'm just saying.
So who takes it? Because it's got to be one of Napoli, Roma, or Lazio.
Yeah.
I could see Lazio. No, I don't think it's Lazio.
No, and my brother's going to make it.
Okay. I will say that I think Napoli Gattuso could get something because he has the ability to put the screws down and get results out of teams. He's came close with a worse Milan team to getting them into Champions League. I think he could do it. I see Napoli working up into the top 4, and Milan, if they have more injuries than they have recently. And remember, Ante Rebic was out because of the stupid red card he had. The fall from second this year in Serie A to 5th or 6th, very quick, very easy. All it takes is 1 or 2 games to go sideways for you. So I've got the Milan shirt on. I'm very pleased, that we got 3 points, but there's no reason on God's green earth that Milan should have struggled the way they struggled against a Fiorentina side that is that terrible. Love Cesare Prandelli, one of the most heartbreaking stories that you will read from a manager in Serie A. I don't care. The man, he's washed. He's washed. Fiorentina is a relegation team waiting to happen. They had the ghost of Franck Ribéry, who looked like he was like 10 years younger. And you're telling me that Milan struggled against this side? Get out of here with that. There's no reason for them to look like that they had that much trouble. They allowed 2 goals from that Fiorentina side. It was ridiculous.
I mean, but the run-in is fairly friendly.
Here we go.
Mondays with Reddit.
Back to Juventus. According to La Repubblica, Juventus don't have enough money to hire Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. Duh. They had to put that in the article. And they have a list of 3 potential replacements for Andrea Pirlo. It's not Klopp and it's not Guardiola.
If Pirlo walks.
Repubblica says that Pirlo's job is not safe anymore. They've drawn up this list of potential replacements. They're not considering sacking him while the season is ongoing, but if the situation will worsen, well, then they would sack him because his assistant, Igor Tudor, could be appointed interim coach until the end of the season.
The only way this ends with Pirlo walking out the door is if he goes back to his vineyard.
He might. If Pirlo is sacked in June, here are your possibilities. Max Allegri? Nuh-uh. Poor relationship with Pavel Nedved and Paratici. So he ain't coming. He ain't coming. Here's your 3. Luciano Spalletti.
They don't. Why do you want Spalletti? He couldn't get it done with Inter. He couldn't get it done with Roma. And both of those teams were younger than the squad he would be inheriting at Juve.
He's on the list.
Look, Spalletti's not a bad guy, but Spalletti, if you want to go college football, Spalletti is who's a good mid-level manager, a good level coach in college football?
Who's not better than that?
Chris Peterson?
The Falcons coach, because he should be in middle school teaching.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Jackie Fresh coming in with the hot takes.
Wow. I just said Chris Peterson.
Wow, good.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Okay, well, Dan Quinn's gone now. So
there's yelling for Will Muschamp on the Twitch pitch.
He says Dan Quinn should be coaching middle school. All right, so elementary. Good Lord.
Wow.
I don't think he's that bad. He's a nice guy, but he's like Chris Peterson. He's a manager he's a coach who can get things done, but he's not someone who's going to get you to the title. He's just not. And that's not a knock on him. There's just some managers out there who just don't have that when the tough times hit that you can make something happen. You're not getting Antonio Conte in. He and that thing stapled gun on the top of his head. They're currently trying to run out the last of the dimes at Inter, however long that's going to last. Allegedly, they made some payments. So we'll see how that goes.
Spalletti's one name on the list of three. Because as La Repubblica reminds us, they can't go get Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola. Like, that was actually a realistic thing to even talk about. Simone Inzaghi.
No, I mean, you might be able to get him out of Lazio, but I think he enjoys what he's doing at Lazio. He feels like it's his project. If he comes into Juve, obviously it's taking over the Cadillac, but I don't think that Juve's in a position where he would feel any sort of job security like he feels right now at Lazio. That means something.
The first name on the list is Giampiero Gasparini.
You're not getting Gasparini out of Atalanta. He has full control.
That's their list.
He got into fisticuffs with a player. He got into fisticuffs with Papa Gomez, and they kept him over the player. You think he's walking? Get out of it.
That's their list.
Yeah.
That's the list according to La Repubblica.
Great. Good for them. I too could construct a name of lists.
It's not going to have Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola on it. They're not going to go to Juventus next year.
The list of Jericho. Hold on. Let me find it here. Hold on. We can, the lexicon of Alifi. I too can craft a list on this here little pad of paper of three names. If they're smart, let me back that up immediately. If they're really dumb and they get rid of Pirlo, the one person there's two names that they need to call: Ivan Juric at Verona, or they can call Italiano up at Spezia. It's two managers that they could afford, and it's two managers who would want to grab the brass ring of Juve. So,
well, Tuttosport is also talking about Mr. Pirlo, and Tuttosport says that Pirlo must turn things around immediately if he wants to keep his job. Finishing in the top four, not enough. You've got 10 matches left in the league. 4 of them are against direct contenders for the top 4. They have identified 5 matches that will decide Pirlo's fate. You go to Torino on April 3rd. You host Napoli on April 7th. You go to Atalanta on April 18th. You host Milan on May 9th, and you host Inter on May 16th. They are the crucial games for the future of Andrea Pirlo.
If there's any remote truth to that report, Agnelli needs to wake up and apologize. The man's not even in dream world. The man needs to be sedated. If that's honestly what he's saying.
He's in Dan Quinn world.
He's in Dan Quinn world?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. So, because it really, what is it? I understand Agnelli's position. He does not want to be the man who watched everything fall apart on his watch. I understand that. But it's happening. And it's happening because of decisions that you made and your predecessors made, and you didn't change anything. So if you want to fire Pirlo, that's fine. But Pirlo's not – he's going to go away for a couple seasons. He's going to come back. He'll take over a club like a Milan, like a Napoli. And when he finally figures this thing out, it's going to be very, very bad for Juve, and I will love every moment of it. And it's going to be delicious to watch. If they keep Pirlo, they have the opportunity to build something special, and it will be extraordinarily terrifying to see what he's going to put together. But it's fine. It's up to you. It's up to you.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Speaking of troublemakers, Bobo TV. I might need to learn Italian to watch this show. It sounds like the greatest show on Twitch. Christian Vieri and Antonio Cassano, they're back talking, and they're talking about Andrea Pirlo. They are defending Mr. Pirlo. Yep. They say Juventus are not doing well for so many reasons. This is Vieri. Next season, I would stick with Pirlo without thinking twice. Juventus have been eliminated from the Champions League, and they are not going so well in Serie A. However, after 9 titles in a row, it can happen not to win. Juventus are missing 20 goals from Paulo Dybala. He is not a regular player. He is a champion. Juventus have young players, but it takes time. Cassano said, the future depends on what Ronaldo, Bonucci, Chiellini, and Buffon will do. The responsibility for the situation is down to the club. Pirlo has little responsibility. Last season, Juventus sacked the coach who had played the best football in Italy. But he had a problem, and it was Ronaldo. Pirlo wants to play good football, but Ronaldo is a problem for him too. Ronaldo only thinks about his records. He is not the same player he used to be 4 years ago. Pirlo has just begun his coaching career. You can't give him the responsibility to coach a player like Ronaldo. Cassano is always going at Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
Right.
You know, I don't know if he's 100% wrong in this, but I would stick with him. I would.
Well, you need a culture change in that locker room. And the only way to do it is to send Ronaldo out. You can't have multiple people having mixed messages flying around. You can't have something from Agnelli. Like, well, this is what Juve, is and what they need to be. And you can't have the manager saying this is what Juve needs to be on the field, and this is how we need to train. And you can't have players like Ronaldo or Bonucci saying, well, this is what we want to do. So there needs to be Atalanta, from a dollar perspective, has no business being in the top 4. They have no business succeeding the way that they have succeeded against some of Europe's best teams. They succeed because they have one singular message, and that comes from Gasparini. And it works. And they are one of the very few profitable teams in Serie A as a result, because young players come in and they know it's Gasparini's way or the highway. And he develops them and he sends them on the way. I don't, you can't keep blowing things up and saying, well, we're getting rid of everybody. We're cleaning house anytime things don't go the way that we want them to go. I'm talking about from an X's and O's standpoint and a philosophy standpoint. Ronaldo was a walking soccer nucleus. He's not anymore. If he was, Juve would be moving on in the Champions League tournament. They're not. Father Time's undefeated. Don't know what to tell you. He's going to go. He'll probably play in the Euros. Fantastic. I hope he goes back to Real Madrid and does whatever it is that he does, like 4,000 sit-ups and eats raw chicken breast with no salt and pepper or whatever it is he does. But Juve has to stick to a coherent philosophy. They've been getting by too long on being the most talented team, and the talent is too old to keep that philosophy going forward. So Cassano is right in some respects. Vieri, I think, is totally right. And I've just completely agreed with an Interista. I don't like how that feels. Doesn't feel very good. But I will say that Cassano doesn't want someone to come through and be Ronaldo is probably the most singularly talented player in Serie A since Cassano. But Cassano didn't have his head screwed on straight, so he couldn't sustain it. But he completely wants, Ronaldo out so he can take ownership of all the headlines. Yes.
You mean LeBron James?
No. So it's
the Twitch pitch has suggestions for who should be next to Juve. Gattuso to Juve.
Sure.
Oh, Cassandra on Bobo TV, they also said that Napoli should not run Gattuso either. They should keep him.
They should.
Which I totally agree with. Piojo, Miguel Herrera to Juve.
No.
That'd be amazing. He would be fighting everybody.
Great.
He was the manager of Club America. But
he'd be fighting everybody.
He
would fight La Stampa. He
doesn't fit the model of what Juve wants. They want dignified gentlemen.
Yeah, he's not that. Frank Lampard, is he a dignified gentleman?
No.
No, not so much.
No.
Neil Lennon's available. He's not working these days.
No, we don't. Look, that Celtic can keep their problems, even though they fired him. And I want him to stay in Scotland. I don't want him anywhere near.
You figure he'd rub off on
Italy
everybody
in general.
The second he hits the turf, he just rubs off on everybody else,
No,
even if he's unhired.
I don't want that.
Here's two that are interesting. Will is saying don't blame the rest of the Twitch pitch for his drunkenness. A lot of these were Will's, but Will's got two good ones. Let's go with the last one, Jose Mourinho to Juve.
Yeah, I think that actually could work. He has significant knowledge of Serie A. I mean, he won the treble. You can't knock the success that he had at Inter, but he's also not dumb. And he knows that if he were to take over the Juve job, that any goodwill that he had around the city of Milan would be gone forever.
Yeah.
So and look, the body goes and the mind goes. And Jose has shown me nothing that he's ready and willing to take a top tier club to new heights. I mean, he has not been the same man for a very long time. And I don't think that going to Italy and trying to resurrect Juve would be the best course of action for him. He wants to have fun, but I just don't think that.
Cassano's given opinions on Jose Mourinho as well recently.
Oh,
he talks a lot to a lot of different people.
Who has Cassano not given an opinion on?
There's not many. When asked about Mourinho, he said nobody can say that his teams play well. He has won 2 Champions Leagues, but that means nothing. A genius like Cruyff only won 1, and we can't compare him to Mourinho. And he was talking a lot about the match with Arsenal. He said they have a better team, and yet they spent 80 minutes defending. I don't think a coach who has won so much can continue playing like this. His football will not go down in history. I would agree with that. I think some of his coaching methods will go down in history, especially some of the stuff he did at the beginning where everything was with the ball. He didn't just have guys run laps and do fitness without the ball. Like he revolutionized coaching methods, and he had some amazing successes. But his style of play, no, it's not going to go down in history. It's not going to be looked at the same way as others. The other interesting one, somebody who will be out of work when we get to next season, is Jogi Löw. Leaving Germany after the Euros. Allegedly has an interest in going to Spain and working in La Liga. But, I mean, you're talking about somebody with a World Cup. Those guys don't come along every day.
Jogi Löw could be someone very interesting, and I think he'd probably have a bit more success at Juve than he would in La Liga. Living in Turin wouldn't be, I think, terribly different for him from a climate perspective. Way of life, I think, would be something that he would be agreeable with. But at the same time, I do think that there's a major difference between being a club manager and a national team manager. And yes, you do have a World Cup under your belt if you're Yogi, but I do wonder how he would do in the club world, because he's been with the national team, the German national team, for a very long time. So I do have questions about how he would transition. And half of that isn't his ability, right? Let me make that very clear. It's would he be allowed the runway to orchestrate that transition? Because that's part of it. If they don't give you any runway to take off, it doesn't matter what you're doing, because you're going to get ran out of town before you can bring the vision to fruition. So that's not a bad name, though.
No, it's not. It's really not a bad idea. It'd be a very interesting one, and he's one when we get into this potential managerial musical chairs game. He's a wild card, you know? I mean, we haven't seen him at the club level. I'm trying to remember the last time he worked at a club would have been before World Cup 2006, and I think he was an assistant, if I remember correctly. It's been that long. Good manager, obviously. I mean, but what can he do with the club game? I don't know. I have no idea, like where he could go, what to expect, what the expectations would be, what clubs are going to be looking. It's a very interesting name that could become available. I mean, when you look big picture, you know, another name who could be available because it looks like his time in Madrid is running short is Zinedine Zidane.
Zidane would be probably the one, and this is the one thing that you have to keep in mind with Juve, is that it's viewed largely as Italy's team. Not Torino, not Milan, not Inter, not Roma. It's been Juve. And if most of the people in Italy who, you know, live in a Serie C town or a Serie B town, ask them who their favorite Serie A team is, they're probably going to say it's Juve. And a lot of that has to go to the goodwill, believe it or not, that they gained when they were relegated for Calciopoli. And they rolled into town and treated every game that they played in Serie B like it was full-on Serie A, first-team lineups, the works. And they were very gracious, and they applauded fans, and they shook hands and kissed babies and did all the political stuff they needed to do. But the likelihood of them allowing a non-Italian manager, this goes back to Yogi Löw as well, there would be a lot of pushback for a non-Italian manager at Juve. Zidane might be the one guy who could come in and not receive any static from the ultras.
Here's another one. Arsene Wenger.
No.
No?
No. They wouldn't accept him.
Why?
He's not true blood.
No, it would not. They would not accept him. Because with Zidane, you have a metric ton of history.
Yeah. No, that one
Zidane, and you know the highlight packages that they would run and they could market and build, it would be, you know, Zidane coming home. And so Arsene Wenger, with, you know, they would largely focus on the failures toward the end of the stagnation of Arsenal toward the end of his reign, more so than the Invincibles and all that. I mean, I just don't think that, like, we understand, like, we would be like, oh, the Invincibles, oh my God, you know, but no.
But folks focus on the end when they were just kind of there, and
right.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm doing, developing the players, and they have a fiscally responsible budget. Yeah, no.
Now,
that is the way things were with Mr. Croquet. You had to do that.
Yeah. Nicolo Shira is also saying that keep an eye on Inzaghi because there's been interest from Juventus in him in the past.
Mm-hmm.
His contract, he's been in talks with Lazio for a renewal for months, and it's not done.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be the one that would make a lot of sense, could be available too.
Yeah, there could be something there. And if it happens, I like I said before, I would be a little shocked, especially if it comes down to Lazio not getting the renegotiation done,
Right.
because that'd be very dumb on their part.
It's dumb that it's still an issue.
It is. It's dumb that it's still an issue because Lazio haven't been, this relevant in a while, and really that team has squandered when they could have sold Milinkovic-Savic for they could have sold him for north of 80 million, 90 million, and then they blew that. And so, now that I think about it, you may have a point because Lazio has a history of making some dumb decisions. So,
last club that Jogi Löw managed was Austria Vienna, and he was there less than a year in 03 and 04.
Okay, there you go. I knew he was an assistant before that and joined the national team under Klinsmann. But yeah, I mean, he's a complete unknown quantity at the national or at the club level. He'll get a good job. I mean, he's going to have some options. I just don't know who goes after him. It's a really interesting one. I don't know the answers there. One player that we've been waiting to see what would happen with David Alaba. Not really linked to Italy. It's been more of England or Spain. There's been some PSG mix here. According to Sky, he has turned down a big offer from PSG. He said no to Thomas Tuchel in Chelsea. He wants to go to Spain, and he wants to go to either Real Madrid or Barcelona. He'd be available on a free, so, I mean, Barca's not talking about a transfer fee here, and if they move other money out and they bring some money in, okay, maybe you have it for David Alaba, but he is seemingly determined to go to Spain, and it's either going to be Real Madrid or Barcelona.
I would say Real Madrid more than Barcelona.
I would too.
I mean, money talks in this situation,
But Real Madrid's thinking about where they're going to spend their money. And, they want Erling Haaland. They want Kylian Mbappe. They want the big names, right. And there might not be as much money left over for a defender.
Hey, look, true love is a two-way street. In soccer, it's often facilitated by money. And, if the person that you loved was guaranteed to love you, then we probably wouldn't have a lot of country music. A lot of movies probably wouldn't work out.
So are you saying David Alaba is going to release a country song?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Well, no, what I'm hearing is David Allen Coe is going to write the theme to somebody's,
Nobody wants that.
The best soccer country song ever from David Allen Coe?
Yeah.
That ain't true!
He is going to write the anthem for Serie A.
That ain't true!
Oh, good grief.
I can't wait.
For what? It's all fantasy land.
What, for Serie A?
Yes, David Allen Coe involved in Serie A's Fantasyland. Yes, that's frightening Fantasyland, too. That's a place I don't want to hang out.
I don't know why you're afraid of creative, fun ideas. God bless Charlie Pride, because Charlie Pride writing the EPL theme would have been amazing too.
I'm afraid of unleashing David
Jarrett got
Allen
into
Coe
good
on
stuff this
anybody.
evening.
Yes, seriously, Jarrett. What in the world happened to you since we talked to you last?
Well, I just kind of riffed off of John, so
fair enough, I guess. Man, all right. Things have completely gone insane at this point. Not quite as insane as Cameroon's national team administrator. Did you hear about this one? They were trying to call up Eric Choupo-Moting to the African Nations Cup qualifiers coming up, and they couldn't understand why they didn't get an answer. Well, they sent the call-up email to themselves, not the player.
They sent it to themselves?
They sent it to themselves.
Oh, my God. Okay, so what's worse? Jarrett, what's worse? SPFL votes and spam filters or sending a call-up request to yourself?
I think it's sending a call-up request to yourself, because at that point, I think you have to question whether or not you have notifications turned on your own email.
Mm-hmm. How did you miss it?
Do you have yourself marked for the spam folder or something?
Mm-hmm.
You should have sent that email and immediately said, "Hey, my inbox has a 1 next to it."
Oh, wait a minute. That shouldn't
I mean,
be
what are they
going
using?
to me.
CompuServe?
Yes. They might. Yes, that is John level of technology misuse scorecard. That is accurate. John, have you ever done that before?
Sending it to myself?
Yes.
On purpose, I've done it to myself. On accident, I'm fairly certain I've done it to myself, and probably taken a good couple of weeks to realize I did send it to myself in return.
You could be hired as the national team administrator for Cameroon. Congratulations.
Yes. Sweet. I'm in.
Very nice.
And that's not to discount the Scotland thing that John brings up, because that was amazing in its own right.
Yeah.
But this is taking it to another level that is wildly unnecessary to take it to.
There's that. You want an update on the Balkans?
Sure.
Because remember
Why
how
not?
Dinamo Zagreb, manager going to jail. They win against Tottenham. It's a thorough embarrassment for Tottenham. Now you have the president of the Serbian FA, who has resigned amid allegations linking him to organized crime.
Of course.
Yeah. Don't go take a job in the Balkans in soccer. That is rule number 1. Slavica Kokesa has resigned as the president of the Serbian Federation. He's been there 5 years, since 2016. As he stated in the announcement, he resigned in the face of accusations and brutal attacks on his person. I want to inform my associates, as well as the sports and football public, to resign from the position of the president of the Football Association of Serbia. I am ready for a new fight in which I will do everything to deny the attacks on my name and personality. There's other people linked in this situation. He says they didn't have anything to do with it. He wants to provide the national team no distractions with the World Cup qualifiers starting out. Yeah, he has been there 5 years. They did qualify for Russia in 2018. He was recently taken to, and I guess this is a Serbian police force or what have you, Service for the Fight Against Organized Crime. He was taken to them for an informative interview. As it is translated.
Heads up, in those Balkan informative interviews, you don't want to do a lot of informing.
And the longer that you're in the room, the more they're going to get out of you.
Yeah. The answer is, I did it. I did it all. I planned it by myself. No one assisted me.
And Michael,
there was no one else involved. It was just me.
It was just me.
Michael,
I'm that smart.
Michael Ruiz tells us that his cousin's boyfriend is trialing with a second division Croatian team, literally as we speak.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Yeah, that too.
In nome del Padre, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti.
Yeah, all of that. It's no bueno. But that's the organized crime down here portion of the show.
Well, at least we're not at the part where where we had debates on whether Italian ultras were funneling weapons out of France.
Yeah, we don't have that. We do have more organized crime, though. Allegedly.
I feel like we need the Law and Order sounder or something.
No, this would actually fall under the Conca Cinco. Statement from the Belize Federation. Their national team ran into, quote, an unfortunate incident upon arriving in Haiti for Wednesday's World Cup qualifier. In their statement, team was headed from the airport to the hotel this morning in Haiti. Despite the 4-man police escort, the team bus was stopped by an uproar of insurgents with assault rifles on motorcycles, and police escorts were forced to negotiate with them for the team bus to continue its journey to the hotel. The situation is one that the team should have never faced, but we are pleased to report that our Jaguars, that's the Belize national team, although shaken by the terrible experience, are safely at their hotel. Yeah. Wow. Team co-captain Dion McCauley, who plays for Jenga Atlanta here locally, he shared a quote, and he said, "I am happy everyone is safe, and I commend you guys for being brave to the team. It was a moment of intense fear. Let's continue to stick together and please make the best decisions when it comes to the team. Yeah. There's video of it, too. John Arnold, who is your absolute follow for CONCACAF, Arnold, John on Twitter, has video of the incident from the team bus, what it looked like from the outside. They've had a lot of issues lately with gang-related kidnappings. They had violence at a recent club match. Yeah, as John said, it's a bit of a surprise that Haiti's actually hosting a World Cup qualifier.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just going to acknowledge that and keep it moving.
Yeah. We'll also acknowledge and keep it moving, as Fourcard says, did y'all talk about the racist sign ultras for Slavia Prague yet? No, we didn't. But in racism down here, their ultras hung up some incredibly racist signs after their player was accused of being incredibly racist on the pitch in Scotland against Rangers. And if you've seen that incident and you've seen that video, something pretty wild was said. I don't know what was said. There's some video that's purporting to have audio of what was said. It's a little hard to tell. The video I saw looked like it had been chopped up, so I'm not going to take that as 100%. But you can see the immediate reactions, and you can see the player. He goes up to him, and he says something, covering his mouth, to the player. The thing that the club said, Slavia Prague said about, he covers his mouth when he speaks to his teammates. That has nothing to do with this. He goes up to a player on the opposite team and says something that player immediately reacts to, like, did you just hear this?
Yeah.
He said something pretty wild, and we'll see if UEFA actually decides to do anything about it. They're investigating. We at least know that, but we don't know what they're going to do.
Yes,
that's all we know. Go ahead, Jarrett.
To Glenn Kamara, who's pretty chill. And whatever he said, Glenn Kamara was ready to throw hands within 0.2 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, UEFA, there's a docket, basically, that this is something they're investigating, but we've heard nothing.
Isn't it bad that as we try to get back to normal, that all this idiocy starts happening, like, all over the place?
Yep.
Like, nonstop idiocy starts popping off the minute we start trying to get back to normal.
Yeah.
It's like we just let the idiots out of the zoo, and they're all going nuts. Like, it's just they've run amok. You got these morons hoisting these banners up. It's like, well, your guy screwed up. Your guy made an obscenely racist remark, and somehow it's the offended person's fault?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And UEFA has to crack down on this. They have to crack down. As we start letting fans back into stands and people start feeling, a little wild because they haven't been there in a while. And, I'm dreading Lazio game 1. I'm dreading the Cagliari Ultras. I'm dreading the Verona Ultras. UEFA must crack down on these and start sending a message to all the leagues saying, if your players start popping off at the mouth, prepare yourselves accordingly. And it's on the broadcasters, the people who give the money to the leagues. Now the leagues know what happens when that money starts drying up. You will never have more leverage than you have now. ESPN, BN, Sky, all of these other, CBS, Paramount, whatever. This stuff's going across your airwaves. And you have the ability to call the league up and be like, that multi-million-dollar check we just cut? Don't police this, and we will take our business elsewhere. And then you can go and fish for peanuts and have a great dandy time scrapping pennies for the phone bill. There's no reason why at this point somebody else shouldn't step in and say, all right, great, fantastic. We will make the call if you won't. And as far as the morons in the street who are hoisting banners, you know what? It's on all of us who are who are reasonable and logical and thoughtful to simply show that they are not just outnumbered, but they are cartoonishly outnumbered. So it's, if you're a Slavia Prague supporter and you're looking at this and you are enraged, man, you guys got to get your whole crew together and you better quadruple, make it 20, 10, 20, 30 fold that number in that photo and come out and denounce that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Badger's saying essentially in the Twitch pitch. He says, "I like to see these clubs crack down. Why wait for UEFA?" Sadly, some of the clubs don't think it's a big deal, as you could see from Slavia Prague's statement, where they talk about a obviously accidental foul on a goalkeeper as the number one thing they say in their statement about the match. And then eventually get to the point about, oh, yeah, our guy was accused, and we stand by him and say that he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, how many times have the Lazio and Ultras popped off? They hoisted a banner of Van Frank in a Roma kit and said that your homes are the ovens. And what did Lazio say? Yeah, we denounce it. Okay. Uh-huh. And they let it go.
Yeah.
You say something that wild, and they didn't okay, no. We're booting all of you clowns out. We're gonna have 2, 3, 4 games, however many it takes, for you morons to get out. And why did it take so long? Finally, one of the more hyper-nationalist groups disbanded, but how long did it take for that to happen?
Way too
Moise
long.
Kean, right?
Yeah.
Mario Balotelli. How many more players in Italy have to, anytime they score, start hearing monkey chants? The club's got to do. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, they do.
Clubs must be the ones to crack down.
I
They
think,
don't care.
Yeah, there's too many who don't. I think UEFA is going to have to make them care.
Yeah.
And it's going to have to come in a number of directions. I think you're right, Nick, about the broadcasters. That's going to have to be part of this. The UEFA and the national federations, UEFA's got to make it clear, okay, Slavia Prague doesn't want to handle this like adults. Well, then their federation needs to be told to make them handle it like adults. That has to happen. And if that means UEFA going to them, if that means FIFA going to UEFA, wherever the pressure point comes from, it has to happen. And it has to stop, because this is not going to go away on its own. There does need to be a punishment. It needs to be severe. It needs to be strict. And then I think when you see a situation like, okay, Slavia Prague, 1, this happened by one of their players. 2, they didn't handle it well and it made it worse. 3, now they're banned from European competition for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're going to have people say to the idiot fans, hey, cut it out because you're going to get us banned again. Mm-hmm. And if that's what it needs to start with, fine. And if the federation wants to pop off at the mouth about it, well, then ban them from the Euros. Ban them from World Cup qualifying. Ban them from the Nations League. Wherever you want to start, do it. That's how you're going to have to do this. If it continues, you're going to be banning teams from World Cups because idiots at the club level can't handle it. Fine.
Yep.
If that's what it takes,
do it.
That's what it takes.
It's not that hard to keep your idiotic racist opinions to yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be educated and you don't want to make, good and right decisions, and, you don't want to, I don't know, be decent, then the one thing that drives me nuts is that everyone hates us, we don't care chant that so many people have started, taking and running with.
Yeah.
That's fine. And that's fantastic if that is your little particular flavor of idiocy. But typically that stuff's chanted when you are right after you've done something completely vile and repugnant.
Yep.
And you've earned the venom that's coming your way. And I think you're 100% right. It's all UEFA can be like, do this, allow this, and you will never sniff European competition. We'll ban you. That's fine. And if you knuckleheads want to go and form your own little racist Champions League, Good luck getting the distribution deals because we've already called all the television partners and you're getting nothing. It's going to take people putting soup cans tied up in aluminum foil on top of a TV to get the signal to find out what that tournament is going to be looking like. So,
sadly,
it's moronic.
Yeah.
Sadly, racism down here will continue to be a segment on soccer over there because it continues to pop up. We do have more important things to talk about. Not that this isn't important, but we can't solve it right now, and we're going to not spend time about on idiots. UEFA needs to deal with it. FIFA needs to deal with it. Clubs need to deal with it. A lot of people who have the power to deal with it need to deal with it. We're going to keep pointing it out week after week after week. That's what we have to do. But we're also going to talk about situations like CONCACAF Olympic qualifying, where there was a shock result today. Canada and Haiti 0-0 draw. El Salvador and Honduras will kick off here in about 30 minutes. Right now in that other group, because this question came up a lot today, U.S. and Mexico are into the semifinals. It'll be win the semi, you go to the Olympics. Depends on where they finish, but the other group, Canada's on 4 points through 2 games. Honduras won their first game. They're on 3. El Salvador hasn't won anything yet. They lost their first game. Haiti's on 1 point. That group's wide open. If Honduras wins tonight, they'll be on 6. Canada will be on 4. The last round of games in that group will be Honduras and Canada playing, El Salvador and Haiti playing. So the Canadians are very down on their chances of going to the Olympics because they're worried about playing Mexico. I think the U.S. should be fine against any of the teams in that group. But now they might face who I think could be the best team in the group in Canada. They might see them if they win the group, which the thought was Canada would win this group. Now maybe not. They might see Honduras. They could see El Salvador if they pull it up, so they could see Haiti, depending on how things go. It could get really, really weird in Group B.
Yeah, Tejan Buchanan had a break in the 92nd, and they had a 2-on-1, and the shot was a kick save by the Haitian keeper to keep it as a goalless draw. So a big save late preserved the 1 point for Haiti, and Canada gets to 4 points there.
That's not good. Getting to 4 points sucks. They were supposed to win this game.
That they were.
So
big favorite. They were minus 750, I think, going in on the juice boxes.
I didn't know it was that big of a favorite. That's absurd. Bernd, it's a little too early to say on if this means the U.S. will likely play Honduras. If things go the way we think they will tonight, Honduras would be in the driver's seat, but then they play Canada on the final day, so things could get a little weird. Either one, I think the U.S. will be favored pretty handily. They have to take care of business here against either one of them, and they should. They should. Even with the group not as strong as it could be, they should take care of business against either one. But now it's a little bit of a toss-up as to who it could be.
I'm sorry, I was mistaken between the time I last looked and they kicked off. Canada was a minus 909 in the composite going up against Haiti.
Even better.
Yeah.
We should have put that in our weekly betting.
Don't give me any ideas, Jarrett. Don't give me any ideas. It's going to be a weird week of games, I can tell you that much.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's...
Yeah, I assume we're going to end up in African Olympic qualifying before this week is done.
They've already done their Olympic qualifying. It would be African Cup of Nations qualifying if we wanted to go down that road.
That's even weirder, though.
We could do that.
That is, and to a reminder, that is one of the reasons why I was always high on Giampiero Gasparini when he came to Atlanta United too. That man got through AFCON qualifications in one piece. There was nothing that USL was going to show him that would scare him.
That's true. That's true. And Jarrett, you'll be pleased to know that as Teise is running just video clips between games from Argentina tonight, they showed the Las Locuras de Scott Brown again for the millionth time.
You know what? Shout out to Scott Brown for his actions, though.
Gave him
Sunday.
a big shout out this morning, too.
Yeah, going over to Glenn Kamara, putting an arm around him, went over to him as they all were getting loose. Everybody stood and basically told UEFA to kick rocks, that the whole taking a knee thing was nothing more than a hollow gesture. I believe a number of other teams in Scotland did it too. I don't know if all of them did. At least one other game, everyone stood for that one as well, for the same principle.
Yeah, I'm very glad they did that. I mean, if you're not going to do the guard of honor, that was the best thing they could possibly do, and both teams showed a lot of class in doing that. And Scott Brown deserves a ton of credit for going over like on his own before anything got started, and making sure Glenn Kamara knew he was there, knew he was thinking about him, all that. That's really good. That was really, really good. It was good to see that in a game that's usually incredibly nasty, and it wasn't. I mean, it was a pretty damp squib of a game.
Yeah.
It was a wet rag that you hang over the shower. I mean, that's the game was nothing. Like it was what it was. But yeah, shout out to Scott Brown for doing what a captain should do.
100%. 100%. And there are new rumors, and I've not seen any real smoke. Well, I've seen smoke. I haven't seen any real meat to this yet, but there are new rumors in the Scottish press about Scott Brown leaving Celtic at the end of the season, going to Aberdeen as a player manager, player assistant coach is a better way to put it, with Stephen Glass. That has popped back up again in the Daily Record and other places. I haven't seen anything new on it. It feels like a rehash of the previous rumor, but that's where things stand right now. That's being linked in quite a few different places. The Daily Record had it, and others have followed up on it. So that is still a possibility.
And see, it's weird for me. I always thought if he did that, he would go back to Hibernian, where he started.
Right.
But not my call. Those among us who can predict what happens in Scotland are actual witches and should be thrown in a lake to see if they sink or not.
Yes. That is accurate. That is 100%, because it is a very unpredictable league in place and all of it.
If it was actually good soccer, it would be an absolute riot. And hopefully, God, one day they get back to there, because the other unpredictable aspect of it, if you combined that with actual good soccer, it would be an absolute joy and a riot to follow consistently.
One day it'll get there. One day. It's not there right now. It's kind of meh too often. One place that is not meh too often is this one. Ramon Juanchope Avila at Boca Juniors might be headed to Minnesota United. This had been talked about on our show this morning. It's been rumored for a while that he would be leaving Boca. He's on the outside looking in. Boca turned down the first offer from Minnesota. It sounds like they've made a counter offer. The player, according to reports in Argentina, is interested in the move going to Minnesota. Man, that's a little bit of a culture change going from Buenos Aires to Minnesota, but okay. Ramon Avila could be the number 9 up top for Minnesota. That's a pretty good get. That's a pretty good get for the Loons. That's an upgrade from Luis Amarilla, who they had last year.
Yeah, last thing I saw, and I'll have to double-check, it was the possibility of a loan till December with an option to buy.
It was always that. I think the back and forth is probably about the loan payment.
Notice that Minnesota waited until summer, spring into going into summer to bring them in.
Yeah, don't come up in January. No, it's all good. Yeah. Just wait. It'll be okay.
No,
joke's on you, Minnesota. Watch Minnesota make MLS Cup and host the damn thing in the middle of December.
It does get cold in Argentina too. It does.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about.
Does it get Minnesota hellscape?
Does it get orange ball availability cold?
Yeah, the orange ball is not about the cold, John. That's about the precipitation.
That's more about accumulation.
Yes. Like the Snow Classico, which happened on this day in 2013. Costa Rica is still angry about it. I still say,
what do they have to be angry about? No one can see a damn thing.
Yeah. -9, anyway. Nothing to sneeze at. I'm saying.
No, the saddest thing that I have ever seen in terms of a player being introduced was Darwin Quintero for Minnesota when Atlanta was there in that game. That was like, I can't remember what the actual temperature was. The wind chill was insanely low, And they bring out Darwin Quintero to come wave to the fans. He looked so miserable walking across that field.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's the worst.
See, LGP was a team player. He just wanted – he figured if they were playing to 10, then everybody's going to have to run a little bit more. They'll be able to stay a little bit warmer.
LGP wanted to go sit in front of a heater. Don't lie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
LGP got an early yellow, and he's like, hey, I can throw this guy into the wall and get sent off and go sit in front of the heater. Yeah, I'm good. You guys work this out. I'm out of here.
The coldest I've ever been in my life. We went to go visit my friend. I want to say it was like January, February in Minnesota. And it was -9 during the day. And then at night, we were right by this lake, and it was like -20 with the wind blowing. And my friend wanted to show us these ice sculptures, right? He's like, oh, yeah, these guys come out with chainsaws, and they start carving up the giant statue. I had like multiple layers on, and my hand just started going numb. And I was like, nope, it's a wrap. I don't care if they carved him with their teeth. It's a wrap. I'm done. Get me back in the car. No way in the world. Thank you.
Well, and I mean, when you're and the coldest, I was kind of like with you. I had to fly through Minneapolis with the boss to go to Los Angeles for the Rose Bowl. And when you're going at the Minneapolis St. Paul Airport and you're going from concourse to concourse and you're walking from one to the other, the hallways in between the concourses aren't hermetically sealed, and so you catch the wind coming through the concourse as you're going from one to the other. And when you're dressed for conditions here or Los Angeles and you're going through the airport and it's like -9 outside, you're feeling it as it's coming through the gaps in the hallways. Not pleasant.
That was us calling that game. We're in the press box, and no, we were not opening the window to call the game. I didn't care. I don't care who says what about it. We weren't opening it. It was freezing. And it had to be like, I mean, it was closed, but there was room for a cord to go out for our crowd mic. The booth with just that was like 35 or 40 degrees, if I remember right. It was miserable to be in that thing for like 4 hours to call this thing.
Oh, God.
The walk back to the I can't remember if it was Uber or Lyft that night as we're heading back to the hotel. That was horrible because, of course, it's into the wind to get to the car, and it feels like it is slicing your face open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Because it was cold, but the wind was the worst.
Yeah.
Hearing this is amazing because all I remember about that game vividly is that the underboss, Sean, sent me and Craig Carlos Valentino to a restaurant in Marietta for some remote where we had to put up 92.9 banners. And we just sat inside, and they brought us brisket for free.
Yeah,
and we just sat with our feet up, eating brisket, watching this game, laughing at Minnesota's 85,000 crosses.
Yeah, nobody brought me brisket. That's for sure.
I'm really sorry. I don't have any saved. Otherwise, I don't think it would have kept by now. It'd probably be bad. But if I'd have known that, I'd have sent you some brisket.
Well, I don't think it would have made it to Minnesota. I just remember being horribly sick when I got home.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, the pressure change was probably like, surfacing from 40 feet below sea level at full speed.
Yes.
Without a decompression
We
stop.
flew the next morning back, and it was still horribly cold in the morning. I think it was like 9 degrees when we took off. And I remember when we started to descend and we started to come down, it felt like my sinuses and everything inside my head was trying to jump to the outside of my body all at once.
Oh, God.
It was the worst feeling ever. Have
Jason
fun.
Somehow got the bends on an airplane.
Oh, man. Somehow I got home.
3 days.
Yeah, somehow I got home without vomiting or losing my sinuses somewhere along the way. Have fun, Juanchope Avila, in Minnesota. Have fun. That's all I can say. Good.
And not like the summers are any better. I mean, it's humid. The mosquitoes could carry you off.
Yeah. They don't call it the state bird for Minnesota for nothing.
What?
There's just everything about the state of Minnesota makes me wonder, why did people settle there voluntarily? It's just cold.
Prince liked it.
It's just. I mean, he probably had enough money to stay warm. He probably just burned it to stay warm. But, oh man, that's why he learned every instrument under the sun. It kept his hands moving and kept him warm.
That's true, and he couldn't hire those people because they didn't want to come.
But think about the good stuff that comes out of Minnesota, right? Like, I mean, you had we've already said Prince, right?
You had Soul Asylum. You had the Replacements. Yep. You had Husker Du.
Bob Dylan,
yes.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Huh. I didn't know Minnesota gets that credit for them. Okay.
Right.
Like it.
Look, there's Mallrats was shot at Eden Prairie Mall.
I'm sold. That's good enough for me.
I mean, Minnesota's a fantastic
state. The opening of Dogma, I believe. No, that was Wisconsin. I'm sorry.
DM Tim's aunt went to high school with Bob Dylan. I didn't expect to see that one on the Twitch pitch tonight.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, it's cold outside.
Okay.
Look, all I'm saying, hey, if when COVID is done, if you characters all go and get your shots and wear your mask and whatnot, and Bob Dylan comes to town, I'm going to give you one bit of advice.
Go and see the concert.
No. Save your money. Find something else to do. Go home and buy a ton of beer. Get like a UFC pay-per-view or something.
So it's like the same as Van Morrison.
He walks out, right? And he does this, right? Hold on. I have to move my assistant here. Wait a minute. I'm not doing any new music. Like, that's the entire concert. We saw him in Memphis at the Orpheum, and that's all he did for 2 hours.
Okay.
So I've already got a pact with myself never to go see Bob Dylan in person, so this is fine. Yeah. I'm not missing it. I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Where are you, Jarrett?
I'm walking around Smyrna.
Okay. It sounds like a crowd.
That's because there is a soccer training session. I think it's the Atlanta Chelsea Blues kids.
SSA.
Yeah, SSA is out here practicing. They're doing drills.
Okay.
So I'm on they practice at the park near my house. So nice. I am on a walking trail and watching them practice.
Very nice.
And being terrified that they will kick a ball in my direction. I'll embarrass myself.
Yeah, just get out of the way.
Have to walk off into the middle distance.
Just act like you didn't see it. Katie says hola, and Katie got here just in time for Nick to do a Bob Dylan impression. Yeah.
Bob Dylan to me is like Johnny Cash, and that he'd have been a lot better off just being a great poet. I could take or leave either one of them singing personally, but I think they're great songwriters.
Are there things that make you angry?
Yes, Fred, there are things that make me angry, and Jarrett just did it.
Wow.
Did he just besmirch?
I believe he just besmirched Johnny Cash.
What'd you do?
He besmirched Johnny Cash? Jarrett?
This is the first thing that Nick and I have ever disagreed on, but here we are.
Jarrett, this is one of those situations like when the Russians accidentally launch a nuke and hit an American city, they call up the president. They say, you can select from the following cities for mutual nuking. I'm just suggesting, sir, that you think long and hard about the tremendous mistake you've just made here, bringing it down. The man in black you have done.
Where did this come from?
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Where did this come from, Jarrett?
From my dislike of Bob Dylan.
You could have left Johnny Cash alone.
You could have called Bob Dylan to the carpet and left Johnny Cash out of it.
Yep.
How dare you besmirch the son of Sun Studios like that? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
People are angry about this.
Jared opened a door and everybody's coming through it.
Sam Williamson, I will not stand for this, Jarrett. Get out. You've gone too far now. You've said some stuff that I let slide, but you crossed the line.
Wow.
Man, how far did y'all put this?
Jarrett.
Yeah. For the longest time, he walked the line, and today he crossed it.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Thank you, John, for jumping in front and being a shield from some of that aggression.
I'm marking this on my watch today, on my Apple Watch. I'm marking this down, this day of infamy, in which we the SDH universe, which includes its territory, its sovereign territory of soccer over there, have been ruthlessly and belligerently attacked by the nation of Jared_Smith. I want the people of this great universe to know that we will not stop until we have righted this wrong, until we have brought justice to the SDH universe and its sovereign territory of soccer over there. We will furthermore be seeking all legal avenues.
Yep.
In which to attempt some financial healing.
So you want reparations for this too?
No. I want more than that, John. I want justice. Okay. I want justice. Jarrett has inserted the knife 6 inches into the back. Pulling it out 3 is not justice. The knife must be removed. The wound must be healed. And Jarrett must henceforth pledge not to engage in such buffoonery ever again on this show. That is absolutely, I cannot. Mm-hmm. Good day to you, sir.
And good day.
I'm just not gonna be on a show in the future. I'm just gonna have disappeared, and Nick is gonna randomly just tweet out the video clip of "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him," and that's gonna be all the clues you need. Start the investigation with Nick.
Mm-hmm. It's accurate. Okay. Wow. I'm going to try to bring this back to something resembling normal. It's going to be tough after that, though. I'm still kind of blown away by
Minnesota's incoming transfer is where we were on the tracks at one point.
We got to get far away from that. Let's talk about the picks from last week.
Okay.
How did they end up, John? Do you have any idea?
Michael the comment of the night.
Which one?
What'd Michael say?
How much TAM and GAM does Jared have to trade along with the 2026 third round super draft pick to Vancouver for this hot take?
Might be some DTAM involved.
Man.
Senior roster spot.
Man. All right.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to trade a designated player, aren't I?
Yes.
I think so.
Like a DP slot.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to trade a DP slot for a boatload of AMs, sir.
No, for penance.
Yeah. To answer your question, Jason?
Yes.
We really, across the board in wins and losses, across the board, did not have a very good week.
Yeah, you're picking like one of 3 different options. That's not what we're here for.
You and I were 2 and 4 in wins and losses. Nick and Jarrett were 1 and 5.
Okay.
So you can kind of see, where this is headed.
Tell me where it's headed, please.
I believe that. So what's the wins and losses for the weeks? You have 3 of the 5, and then it's.
Is that right?
Jarrett, I think so. Jared has 1, and Nick has 1, and you've got the other 3.
I believe that's right. Coming into this week. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then coming out of this week, you have 4 of the 6, and Nick has 1 and Jarrett has 1.
That is correct.
Because
which one put me over the top, John?
Well, it was at the buzzer, actually. It was the Napoli win over Roma.
Thank you, Gennaro Gattuso. Thank you. I believed in you. I also didn't want you to stab me with a fork.
Yes.
I believed in you, Reno. Thank you. Thank you for winning this one for me, Gennaro. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, heading into the weekend, we had each taken one of the games in the wins, but you are 2-4 with the games that you selected. You finished with a minus 101.
Is that getting 100 for the ones that you won? Did we get that one right this time? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I still lost money, but I lost less money than you clowns.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, good.
Because I lost 298, Nick lost 342, and Jarrett lost 383.
Jarrett,
so
you broke.
You far and away, with a minus 101 on the week in the 6 matches, you got the win. So you are now 4-1-1 in our 6 weeks.
Well, he always picks the games, so that's why he gets all the games right. He always picks the games.
Oh, why don't you guys pick the other games this time around? How'd that go?
It sounded like a cross of Butters and Cartman.
Yeah, it did.
Into one being.
Yeah, it was kind of in between.
Terrifying. Nothing about that was okay.
Oh, it was pretty good, actually. I liked it.
It's like if Cartman tried to sing the falsetto part of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Come sail away, come sail away.
Old school
Was an
South Park.
invitation.
Old school South Park right there. Old school. Burn, they picked the games. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Burn. Man, I told you guys, don't let Jason pick the games. Now he's not allowed to do that anymore. You still lose to him. Burn takes all y'all to the carpet.
John, what site do we use for odds?
The composite at odds portal.
Thank you. I'm going to we'll see what I can find to contribute to this madness for the next week.
That was kind of me doing Nick doing Beckham. That's true, Katie. my default usually goes to Cartman in those voices, but sometimes it gets a little mutated.
Absolutely.
Do y'all have anything to say for yourselves?
Well, hell.
I'm poor in takes and poor in money. What more do you want?
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
I'm waiting on Nick to say something.
It was a bad week. I can't get around it. I can't get around the fact it was a bad week. I was ready to come in here, and I was going to cut a Macho Man promo on you.
Oh yeah.
And it was going to be pretty ridiculous.
I'm going to tell you something right now, Okerlund. Yeah.
And instead, I'm over here having to figure out how we're going to keep my kid over here from wearing my old Marine Corps flak vest and a Darth Vader helmet.
That's me when I make my picks.
When you make your picks?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
You have the facilities for that, big man. Or what? Making what?
That's when I pick and I beat all of you 4 out of 6 times.
Jason Longshore, you better get ready, because the Macho King is going to come for you. Oh, yeah.
No, he's not. He's not. He's just not.
Awesome. I always wondered what an aneurysm sounded like.
Yeah, that was it pretty much. All right, this is going to be difficult because we don't have a lot of options on each of the days. So we're going to see what we have. I'll give you guys a list of options, and you can pick whatever game you want out of the games, okay? I don't care. Tuesday.
He just said anytime, any place.
No, I said I'm going to tell you a few games you can pick from because this is going to be difficult.
No. I got what you said that. No, I'm saying that Jason said he can take us down anytime, any place, any venue. He's opening up the floor.
No, I'm talking about picking games.
This is a challenge of we can pick the games. It doesn't matter. He's still going to win.
Pretty much, yeah.
We cannot let this stand.
All right.
We've been letting this stand, but we can't let this stand.
I mean,
what do you have for tomorrow?
Well, I mean, you've got some games in League One. You've got a couple games in Colombia. Of course, that's where you were looking, John. We're all shocked that you would be looking at League One in England. We're blown away by this idea.
It fills the calendar, sir.
We're shocked. I'm surprised you didn't go for League Two or the National League.
Buy me some time, and I will.
You could have went with Dagenham and Redbridge hosting Hartlepool. Whatever.
Hartlepool.
Yippee. Of course you know them well.
Yes.
I mean, there's some stuff in Brazil that's probably really sketchy. There's a Copa Argentina game with Gimnasia hosting Doc Sud. Pick a League One game, John. Go ahead.
The one on the board that has the closest numbers across it is Blackpool and Peterborough.
Is that the game you want us to pick?
Sure. Because
you pick it. I don't want you to. No, you pick whatever game you want us to pick. You jumped in on Tuesday. Pick a game for Tuesday.
All right. So Blackpool and Peterborough in League One. Your numbers in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal. Blackpool is a plus 190. The draw is a plus 222. Peterborough is a plus 150. The game is at Blackpool. Peterborough is second in the table with 66 points at 20 wins out of 35 matches played. Blackpool is 10th in the table with 15 matches played, and they are 13 points behind Peterborough, 66 to 53. So that is where we are.
Okay, yeah, that's really telling everybody a lot, as Michael Ruiz says. No one has heard of these teams.
This is what happens during international break.
This is what happens when John goes to his English snobbery. Neil Critchley is the manager for Blackpool, and Darren Ferguson is the manager for Peterborough. In their last 5, Peterborough's actually lost 2 of their last 5. They've only won 1 of their last 5. Blackpool is 2 wins, 3 draws in their last 5.
Mm-hmm.
Blackpool is a second place, or no, Blackpool's hosting, so they're 10th place home dog
right
to Peterborough.
Yes, slight.
All right, you called the game. Which one you picking?
I'll go with Peterborough here to get off the schneid with their recent hiccupy form. I'll go Peterborough.
I'm going Blackpool.
I will. The one thing about Blackpool I remember is Ian Holloway having an epic rant.
He did.
About player selection. So I'm going to go with Blackpool just because I know literally nothing else about these teams.
I'm going to take the draw because that's the only thing no one else has taken. And I couldn't put these teams out on a map if you showed me the crest with the name covered up or a map of England.
I would know Blackpool. I know they wear orange.
Yeah.
That would be one I know. Peterborough, I got nothing.
How are you Blackpool and don't wear black?
Yeah, it's like black and orange, but they mostly wear orange. Sir
But
Stanley
it's
Matthews.
it was like forest green when they were wearing that. When they were wearing like the bright green.
Here you go, Jarrett. Dublin is Blackpool in Gaelic. That is where the city gets its name from. There's something for you to learn today.
Comrade Alifi would like to make a pick between Blackpool and Peterborough.
Okay.
Peterborough because they sound Russian.
Okay, there we go. So Peterborough because they sound Russian, according to Jackie Fresh.
Okay, fair enough. Wednesday, we've got World Cup qualifiers in Europe. We've got games in Colombia. We've got games in Uruguay. We've got Copa Argentina with Boca Juniors and Defensores de Belgrano. We've got the A-League. We're not getting into second division in Austria or the crazy state leagues in Brazil. That's probably stretching it. So our World Cup qualifiers in Europe, we have the possibilities of that look interesting. Turkey and the Netherlands, our old friend Frank de Boer, on the road in that one. We have Belgium and Wales, which is a pretty good one, actually. We've got France and the Ukraine. That's a pretty good one, too. Jarrett, do you have any of these that you feel strongly about?
I'm looking at it right now because I can't see if there's anything that like warms my soul. So looking for tomorrow? Or
this is for Wednesday.
Wednesday,
excuse me. Yes,
should
Wednesday.
We take our old friend Frank de Boer's match in Turkey?
I am inclined to say sure. The only other one that's funny to me is Gibraltar and Norway because it's literally Gibraltar is a plus 5,442.
Good grief. Turkey and the Netherlands is it's an interesting one. This is an interesting one. You got the numbers, John?
For Turkey and the Netherlands?
Yes.
Turkey's a plus 370. The draw is a plus 280. The Netherlands are a minus 135.
And it is in Turkey. It's not been moved anywhere else, right?
Efforting.
I believe it is in Turkey. Turkey is the big home dog here. The Dutch, everybody was all up in arms when Frank went there. He's done pretty well. He's got a big road favorite here. The draw's a pretty big number, too.
Yeah, it's in Turkey.
It is in Turkey, which things can get a little strange. What you got, Nick? Turkey and the Netherlands. John, you go first on this.
I'll go with the Netherlands. I'll go with the home win, or the road win.
The road win for the Dutch. Okay. I'm going to go with the draw. I'm going to go draw here. I think it's going to be difficult on the road, and I think Frank will be a little conservative. First game of qualifying. It's a tough one on the road. I'm going draw.
That's where I'm at as well.
Okay. Nick?
All right, hold on. So you and Jared both took the draw?
Yep.
That's what I was going to go with. But...
And I took the Netherlands.
You can be one of the cool kids. That's okay. No one's going to be mad at you.
No. But scared money don't make money. I'm going to go with Turkey.
Okay.
Oh.
Going with the weirdness. All right.
For fun, Byrne wants us to make a prop bet on how many goals Erling Haaland scores against Gibraltar for Norway.
I say 0 because I don't think he plays.
That's
2, and he gets pulled early.
1.
I'll go 4. I think it'll get stupid. It'll be like in a half. He'll score him against like a police officer, a bartender, a trash man, and
the same police
a librarian
officer that beat Brendan Rodgers' Celtic team under the rock.
Yes. Yeah, he'll score against that back line. Okay. Thursday on the board. We've got actually a pretty good Copa Argentina game with San Lorenzo hosting Defensa y Justicia. It'll be at a neutral site. Sorry, it's not hosting. But San Lorenzo Defensa. So that's a good one. You got games in Colombia to pick from. You got games in Uruguay to pick from. World Cup qualifiers in Europe. You got Spain and Greece. You got Italy and Northern Ireland. You got Scotland and Austria. And who knows what happens in that one. That might be the game we have to take because we've talked about it so much. Do we have any objections to Scotland and Austria being on the board here?
Mm-mm.
Jackie has an objection.
No, of course.
Jackie Fresh, his objection has been noted.
So noted. Any second?
We've talked about it so much, and now it does look like the Austrians will have their Bundesliga players, so they will be at full strength, and they are the favorite on the road.
Yep, Scotland at home is a plus 227. Your draw is a plus 245, and Austria a plus 121.
Jarrett, kick us off.
I'm taking Austria on the road. I have questions about Scotland's form. You going to get Ryan Christie to hit some banger out of this world, or is he just going to float along in the midfield and just kind of do nothing except for like a 10-minute stretch?
No belief in your Scots. Nick?
I will take the draw on this one.
Okay. John?
As will I. Draw. Man. Pinned him in. Is this one where you maintain, or do you try to try to distance yourself?
Give me Scotland.
Give
me Scotland.
Jesus, what?
Give me Scotland. All the iron brew you can drink. Give me Scotland. They're going to find a way to keep David Alaba out of the country. They're going to find a way to keep those Austrians at less than full strength.
This is Jason's battle of Pinky Clo. Will he be able?
Yes.
Will he make the radical turn here? Is it happening?
Yes.
No, I think this is his battle of the midway. He's got Japanese carriers.
But is he Charlton Heston?
Good grief. Friday's going to be tough, y'all. Friday's actually going to be really tough. There's no World Cup qualifiers. We've got 2 games in Argentina that are not the greatest of matches to pick from. We've got second division in Spain and the Netherlands. We've got League One in England. We've got the A-League, which I think we might have to take by default. Yeah. We got to go A-League on this one. I don't know if we have numbers. Let's see. Yeah, I got numbers, John.
Melbourne City and Wanderers.
Melbourne City against Western Sydney Wanderers. I mean, there's not a lot of other options, y'all. I'm serious. Like, we could go Oxford United and Lincoln City in League One, but we've already done a League One game. Do we really want to do another?
Hold on. Give me the games again. I was getting commentary. What's the games?
We've got, in Argentina, we've got Lanús and Patronato and Unión and Sarmiento. Not really the most compelling. We've got Brian Rodriguez on loan. Oh, no, I don't think so. Not one of his teams on loan. So we don't even have a really interesting game in Spain. Second division, by the way. We've got second division in the Netherlands. We've got the A-League, and we've got League One in England.
Well, we haven't done an A-League game at all this year, so I think that we probably should go there.
There's definitely a reason for that, but okay. If it's somebody's call, because there's really not a lot of options here.
Yeah. So Melbourne City minus 161. Your draw a plus 305, and Western Wanderers a plus 418.
So I'm confused by this one because I look at this and I see that, okay, wait a minute, Melbourne City's won their last 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they started really bad.
That is true.
Because they won 2 and they lost 4 in their first 6. Now they've won 5 in a row. They're in 4th, but they're on the hot streak. Yep. Western Sydney is in second place in the A-League. They have 6 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses. They're 1 point ahead of Melbourne City. Goals and goals allowed, pretty similar. Melbourne City's a little bit better.
And Western Sydney's won their last 3.
Yeah, but that's not 5. I'm trying to see if there's any players that you would know on either of these teams. I got nobody on Melbourne City. Their best player so far in the league has been Jamie McLaren, 27-year-old Australian forward. He's got 11 goals in 11 games and 4 assists. He has spent some time in Germany, and, Jarrett, he has spent some time at Hibs. He's got 5 goals and 15 appearances for Australia. Yeah. Melbourne City, they've got Jamie McLaren. Let's see what Western Sydney's got. They don't have anybody I recognize. Their best player this season is Mitchell Duke, a 30-year-old Australian forward who has 4 goals in 4 starts. He did light it up, though, in their last match against Perth Glory. He had 2 goals. He's got 3 goals in their last 2 games. It's an interesting battle here. What are the numbers, John?
Melbourne City Melbourne City's a minus 161. Your draw is a plus 305. Western Sydney a plus 418.
So the number 2 team in the league
is a big dog on the road.
A large dog on the road. 2 hot teams. John, what do you want?
Draw.
There you go.
All that for
a draw.
Uh-huh. Well, I figured Jarrett was picking Western Sydney. I got to do something.
It was Melbourne City who had the Hibs guy.
Oh. Okay.
Well, yeah, but he's right. You can just put me down for that.
Hold on, sorry. Carl Robinson is the manager of Western Sydney.
Like the Oxford United guy that we hated?
No. Like the Vancouver Whitecaps former manager, Carl Robinson.
Oh my God. What?
Yes. Yes, he won 77 games with Vancouver. He is at Western Sydney. Mm-hmm. Welsh legend Carl Robinson.
Carl Robinson just never looked comfortable in Vancouver, which I don't blame him. Vancouver's been a mess.
That's true. So are you going with Carl Robinson in Western Sydney, Jarrett? Or are you going with the former Hibs loanee Patrick McLaren in Melbourne City?
Oh, we're going Melbourne City.
You're going Melbourne. Okay.
I'm trying to extend Carl Robinson's misfortunes, not because I dislike him, but because it's kind of a Charlie Brown thing at this point.
Yeah, fair enough.
Lucy in the football.
Nick, what you got?
I will say, give me City. Melbourne City.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Melbourne City, too. I'm not messing around with this one. They've won 5 in a row.
All right.
They don't have Carl Robinson.
Saturday.
All right, Saturday. Nick, you get to pick this one. I'll give you a few options looking at the board, but if you have something better for Saturday, go for it. We're back to World Cup qualifiers in Europe. Czech Republic and Belgium, Netherlands and Latvia, Norway and Turkey, Russia and Slovenia. You got games in Colombia. You got games in Argentina. Not really anything great.
Let's World Cup qualify it.
You're going to go World Cup qualifier? You got Serbia and Portugal. Sorry, I missed that one. That's a pretty good one. Please don't take Ireland and Luxembourg. Or Montenegro and Gibraltar.
Give me... was it Belgium and who?
Belgium is on the road against the Czech Republic.
Ooh, yeah, give me that one. That sounds tasty.
Okay. Belgium and the Czechs. I'm assuming in Prague. We have another big home dog.
Czech Republic a plus 455. Your draw is a plus 277. Belgium a minus 149.
Nick?
Give me the numbers again.
Czech Republic plus 455. Draw plus 277. Belgium minus 149 on the road.
Do Belgium on the road.
Ooh, really?
Belgium on the road. Who's taking it too?
Wow. Okay. All right. Jarrett, what you got?
Draw.
John?
Belgium on the road. See, this is where Jason tries to pick the Czech Republic on the big number to get the win.
But what this means, though, is that at the end of the weekend, we're all going to be sitting there, wondering how we're doing. It's going to be Jason and somebody else sitting at the top, and this game's going to go his way, and he's going to win.
Yep.
It'll be like an own goal off of someone's face.
Yep, it is, because the Czechs are going to win it at home.
Oh!
There will be partying in the streets in the Czech Republic. It'll be a massive win. All right.
Jackie Fresh has informed the committee that he has changed his selection to Czech Republic.
Jackie Fresh is very smart. All right, Sunday. Sunday, we've got World Cup qualifiers we can go through. We've got
Israel and Scotland.
We've already done a Scotland game, though. We've got Independiente hosting Boca. We've got River hosting Racing.
Game anyway.
They might. We've got Defensa hosting Vélez. So there are some good games in Argentina this weekend. In World Cup qualifying, we've got Bulgaria hosting Italy. We've got Kazakhstan hosting France. We've got Albania and England. We've got San Marino and Hungary.
Well, here's your
Poland
prop bet
and
with that one. Here's what you do with that one.
With which one?
San Marino?
Yeah.
Does San Marino score?
No. They don't. We've got John's favorite Faroe Islands going to Austria.
John's favorite is San Marino.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Ukraine and Finland? I mean, I think it is down between Bulgaria and Italy, Independiente and Boca. I think those are the two best games on Sunday. So, somebody call it.
Not all at once now.
And Sunday's not good either. Georgia and Spain.
Yeah, let's do Georgia and Spain.
Yeah.
That's a lineup right there. I'm not going to call it Murderers Row, but that's certainly a lineup.
It's murderers.
Let's do Bulgaria and Italy. Why not? Do you have numbers for it, John?
I don't see them.
Yeah, I don't have them either. Maybe they took that one off the board. That's not good.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't have the games yet. No, they have some of them. Ukraine and Finland has numbers.
They've got Ukraine, Finland, and Poland and Andorra. Israel and Scotland was the one that I picked because the numbers were close.
We don't have numbers
They
for
played
Argentina
each other like
yet.
6 times over the last 2 or 3 years. They're all sick of each other at this point.
Yeah. We can still go Bulgaria and Italy. We'll just have to get the numbers when they become available.
Okay.
Because it's the only game that really has any kind of meaning to this group, I think.
Okay.
It is in Bulgaria. How you feeling about your Italians, Nick, in Bulgaria?
This is a game where they've been known to draw games like this and have it look a lot harder than it needs to be. So, but I will say Italy wins 1-0.
Italy won 16-0.
Jack says 16-0.
Wow.
I'm not
No
quite
respect
as bold
for
as
the
hell.
Bulgarians. Risto Stoichkov is going to 2-foot Jack.
He's not a real Italy person.
Man.
Oh, man.
Not good. Risto Stoichkov will hurt Jackie Fresh.
He's going to come from the 2 to NA studios, find Jackie Fresh, and just line him up.
It's true. What do you got, John?
Draw.
Jarrett?
Give me Italy. I know Nick has hesitations on this. I think part of that is because Nick is a fan and he's trying to check himself on his fanhood and his belief in Italy. But I'll take Italy just to get the job done. Even though Eastern European games can be tricky, I do reserve my right to change my pick if the numbers come out and they start looking black helicopter, though.
Fair enough. That's fair. I am going Italy
Bulgaria
as well.
is just weird enough for that to happen.
I don't think they're that weird. I'm going Italy. I think Italy gets it done. I think it's like 1-0. It's pretty boring.
Get it and get out.
Yeah, nothing too fancy there. All right, well that's our picks. Maybe you guys will be close this time. Maybe, hopefully, that'd be nice.
Hey, look, it was an off week.
We know that's not gonna
I
happen.
understand.
All the excuses all at once. I love it.
The pride comes before the fall, Mr. Longshore.
I mean, I've won 4 or 6. Like, really?
I want you to prepare yourself
4, 6.
accordingly.
Like 4 out
I
of
want
6.
you to make sure
Man.
that you are emotionally and financially prepared for the downfall that's going to be Legion of Doom coming to your doorstep.
All I heard was
What the hell are you talking about?
See it, yeah.
that's all I hear. That's what it sounds like when y'all make your picks. You know, just saying. I hope it's a good close matchup this time. That's what I'm hoping for.
This is the same display of arrogance that we get from LAFC before Seattle smashes their face in, just so we're clear.
No, I've actually won things. Not a supporter shield.
They've won a supporter shield, which carries about as much weight.
Well, I've won 4 of them, at least. How about that?
Okay, so now you're Red Bulls.
Well, I mean, it's better than... What are you, the Colorado Rapids? No, they won an MLS Cup. I
Don't
wouldn't
insult
even
the
qualify.
Rapids like that.
You're Vancouver. My bad.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, well, no, I'm the one who hasn't won a week yet. The two of them have
Neither
won
have I.
1 week.
Oh, well, then you're New England, John.
Well, no, New England, at least, yeah, he at least got
They've-
close. New England's gotten close. I haven't.
Yeah,
Jarrett won a week. Nick won a week. I haven't.
Yeah,
You won the other
So
4.
when did I win a week? Wait, what?
Yeah, early on.
I don't remember winning a week.
I don't know. John might be hallucinating again.
Was that the week we used weird numbers and we used
probably the modified Stableford week? I think were the 2 weeks that you and Nick won. Take it and run.
No, I will take it and run like Toronto taking the 2017 MLS Cup and running.
Jackie Fresh has asked which MLS team he resembles. I suggested FC Dallas.
No, Dallas is a pretty good call. Maybe he's the new guys, Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you could be Austin. There you go.
No, Austin's trash.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
I'm not trash. I'm probably better than the whole lineup.
Wow. Risto Stoichkov is going to 2-foot him.
Wow, Jackie Fresh does not want to be Verde.
Man, Matthew McConaughey is very sad.
He is not. He's not all right with Matthew McConaughey.
Wow.
This is going to show up.
All right.
This is going to show up on an Austin podcast as a sound clip, and we're going to have to explain it.
I'm saying it's wrong. I've been giving Austin props. I think they've done a pretty good job building their side.
So when Atlanta United goes to the Q2, and does this mean that Jackie Fresh has to go on that roadie?
He's not hanging out with me because I might get attacked.
So I'm saying, here is Jackie Fresh, Austin, Texas.
No, I'm not going to give him up like that, but I'm not going to hang out with him. No. Sorry.
I'm going to reject my Vancouver tag and take the Montreal one just because they were so nice to me last year.
Yes,
and I will cape with Montreal through thick
That's a good one.
Because I made some really good friends up there.
Club de
Jack
Foot
said he would
Jared.
decline the contract.
I will decline it.
He said he would decline the contract. He's not even.
Wow.
Doesn't even want to hear from him.
Club de Foot Jarrett. All right, I'm going to throw a couple questions out, and I want to see where people are, how they're feeling about things as we start to wrap up. Michael Ruiz first says, can we discuss what it means that Atlanta United, as we know an MLS team, had its third-choice center back pick be a guy with 80-plus starts for Independiente? That is amazing. No other MLS team can pull that off now or ever in the history of MLS. Michael Ruiz going big.
They did scouting, but...
And built relationships and knew when Independiente was trying to pull like moves from the Kenny Rogers movie, The Gambler, and you knew not to fold them and walk away from the table.
Yeah.
It's like the riverboat scene in Maverick just being played out over and over again.
Oh, I was going to say the scene in Dukes of Hazzard when Uncle Jesse came in with the $100 bill. He had the roll of cash, and he goes in and tries to get the fortune for them Duke boys. And there's like 100 on top, and then there's a bunch of ones, and then there's just like soap in the middle. And then he ends up winning the whole thing.
That's just being a gangster.
Yeah, Uncle Jesse wasn't messing around when he was playing poker.
Yeah, you put the 100 over the ones. Of course you do. That's how you do this. The soap's a nice trick. That'll get you. That'll get you smacked though. That would get you hurt. Yeah, I think most teams would have walked away from the table, or they would have ended up throwing more money into the deal.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have held firm and said, "Oh yeah, we know you guys need to sell. We know you have a bunch of debts coming due. Here's a check, and take it if you want, or we're going to go find somebody else."
Yeah.
DM Tim says it's like Matt Damon in Rounders when he calls Malkovich's bluff with the Oreo. That could have happened. I could have seen that happening. Like, oh, Sao Paulo, really?
Yeah.
you tried that last time when it was Ezequiel Barco. We know the tell.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They got us. Okay, we'll accept the offer.
Yeah. Darn, you found us out.
All right. Next one. Only 100 days remaining in Lionel Messi's contract with Barcelona. He's been there for 2 decades. Mm-hmm. His contract ends on June 30th.
Mm-hmm.
On September 1st, who is Lionel Messi playing for? Nick?
PSG.
Still. Jackie?
He's going to play at his own houses because he's going to be retired by then.
Oh, that's a new one. Nah, he's not going to retire. He's going to play at another World Cup.
He's going to play. He's going to be at that Miami. He's going to be at that Miami apartment.
You say he's retiring from club.
No, he's going to go to Austin.
No, he's not going to Austin.
He's going to go to Austin.
The amount of pettiness here is. I need a hazmat suit.
Jarrett, where's Lionel Messi going to be playing on September 1st?
Oh, God, I want to believe it's PSG with Nick, but with everything that's gone right at Barcelona, I'm just going to say he's going to end up staying at Barcelona. Hey, Nick, how do you reconcile the fact that Lionel Messi's been at one club for longer than your kid's been alive?
Hey, it's all right, man. It's okay.
At least I've been longer lived than you've been on the show.
Oh! Wow.
Jackie Fresh is dropping bombs here in the last half hour of the show.
Seriously. Wow.
I'm just so proud.
John, where's Messi playing September 1st?
Barca stays.
He's at Barcelona. He's not going anywhere. He is staying with Barcelona. Same question. He hasn't been there for 2 decades because he's a bit of a mercenary. Cristiano Ronaldo, September 1st. Where's he playing?
Un momento. I think he's at Real Madrid.
Ooh. Okay. Jackie, where's Ronaldo playing?
Which Cristiano Ronaldo we're talking about? The old one or the new one?
Ooh.
The one.
Mr. Abs.
Yeah, the one who is.
So, if Juve has a choice, right? They can either release him from his contract and let him go where he wants to go, or he can stay at Juventus. He hasn't won nearly as much stuff as he wanted to win at Juve, right? And there's rumors that he may be interested in leaving. If so, where do you think he goes?
The State Farm.
Okay. All right. So, no, jokes aside, where do you think he goes? Real Madrid, PSG, Manchester United.
Yeah, I think he has a good thing of going back to his old club at Manchester United.
Oh, okay. All right.
Manchester United or Real Madrid. Those are the two.
All right.
Nick? Or you okay? Who do you?
I said Real Madrid.
You're going Real Madrid. Yeah. John?
I'll go with Jackie Fresh and go with Manchester United.
Nah, I don't think so. Jarrett?
I'm going to follow suit, and I'm going to go a new manager brings him back to Manchester United as a flashy signing. Oof. And as a shot across the bow at everyone else in England. Whether or not it works, who knows?
I think he's
fire Ole for no good damn reason.
Yeah.
And bring in somebody else, and they'll bring in Ronaldo to sell tickets.
I think he's still at Juventus. I don't think he goes anywhere because I don't know if there's anybody who will take him at the moment. And he was also, he set another record. He did another first. He became the first player in soccer history to be rewarded with cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was presented on Sunday 770 Juve, Juve, the official fan token of the club for his achievements on the field. He's the first player to receive cryptocurrencies as a prize. It totally pocketed $11,500. It's news.
Good for you.
I got nothing.
It's cryptocurrency, and I figure in about a day and a half it'll be worth like $12.
Probably not, John. I don't think that's going to happen that fast. But I'm not getting it on it. I can tell you that.
Nope.
Go ahead. What?
No, was that one offensive lineman who wanted to be paid in cryptocurrency in the NFL?
Man, he got paid in Bitcoin though. That one, I think that one's.
That's a little different.
That's a little different. Like it's the guys like who are like, pay me in Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Like I think Ronaldo stays. I think he stays. I think he gets more cryptocurrency. He gets more Juves. Or Juves. I don't know. I don't know if JUVs.
He gets more Juve?
Yeah. He probably could buy a Jeep with that Badger. I think he could. Maybe they just give him a bunch of Jeeps.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's how they get him to stay.
Make sure it's like an older, like an early 90s Jeep Wrangler that you can actually work on and fix yourself, please.
Cristiano Ronaldo's not fixing up his own Jeep. That's the last thing he wants.
Well, he could get a Grand Cherokee, but it's going to sit in the shop.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get
a Patriot, yes, without question. Once it hits that warranty, done.
I think he'll skip those. All right, same question.
Better off buying Acme rockets from Wile E. Coyote.
Ay, Dios mío. Same question, September 1st. Who is Erling Haaland playing for? Because I really don't know. And I think all these other moves are going to be in some ways predicated on where Erling Haaland is.
No doubt.
No, I think Haaland is the guy who will set everything else in motion. So the minute they figures out what he's doing, it's going to be the game changer. So he's the linchpin.
Where do you think he's at?
If Real Madrid is putting all of these other potential signings on hold until they land him, there aren't too many times that Real Madrid has said, we're going for him, and they haven't got the guy that they've been going after. So
they wouldn't get Ronaldo and Haaland.
What was that?
They wouldn't get Ronaldo and Haaland.
No, but
it would be the God Squad.
It would be the God Squad if they were able to do that. But no, I think if they have to get one or the other, I think it's Haaland.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, if they get to pick.
So again, if he goes to Real Madrid, then I think Juve is going to be in a tough position because they're going to be trying to. Don't you want your freedom, buddy? Don't you want to go? And then Ronaldo's going to be like, no, I'm cool.
I'm good. I'm good. Give me another G. It's all good.
Yeah.
Where's Haaland playing, John?
Manchester City.
You were paying attention this morning. Jarrett, where do you think Erling Haaland is playing?
Well, you forget I'm also the English snob.
Of course.
I am following suit with the also predict. We're going to parlay this, y'all.
No.
Manchester City lose in the Champions League. Pep is mad and decides to go scorched earth. Aguero, gone. Come on in, Erling Haaland. We're going to burn England to the ground like it's 1066.
Yeah.
I think if City wants him, he goes to City.
Yeah.
I don't know if City wants him yet. I could see it either way. I mean, I think he could fit into Pep's system. I think Pep could also decide to go in a different direction. I don't know if I agree with the Reddit post that I saw a second ago that they are targeting Danny Ings to replace Sergio Aguero. That seems a little off. I think they'd take Erling Haaland instead. I don't think he's at Dortmund. I don't know if Madrid can come up with the money. And I'm not 100% sure that City is who wants him the most. Chelsea will throw everything at him.
You know what would be the most unfair thing is if Bayern Munich decided they wanted him.
Nah, they can't afford it. We're talking. I mean, they could, but we're talking about another level.
Abramovich is going to throw everything in his wallet that he has, and somebody else in Granovskaya's wallet at getting Erling Haaland.
Abramovich will price Bayern out of it if they even want to go in that direction. I don't think they do.
I don't either. I'm just saying putting him on that team would be mean to everyone else.
If
Jackie Fresh has a theory.
Oh boy,
put him in that put him in the Bayern Munich weight program and watch what happens.
Yeah,
he has a theory, and it doesn't sound that bat blank crazy. A little crazy for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Eden Hazard for Holland
with money.
I like the Timo Werner one and money better.
Timo Werner from Chelsea and money for Holland.
No, that's garbage.
That's not garbage.
Dude, I'd rather put Zidane up for that.
You'd rather put Eden Hazard, though? Eden Hazard's always hurt.
Eden Hazard's always hurt. No.
Eden Hazard likes the Nutella diet.
Somebody's got to want the guy. Somebody's got to want the guy to get healthy.
Because I'm saying that Pulisic, before he went to Borussia Dortmund, he was not that good. Until Borussia Dortmund made him into shape, he became one.
Okay, but now he's at Chelsea now, and he's injured. And he's like a glorified
because
sub.
Chelsea sucks.
Okay.
Tommy Tuchel is furious with Jackie Fresh.
This is my favorite program we've ever done.
Wow.
Please just hot drop things.
Nothing but flames. Look, I have told people this several times, and everyone's seeing it in real life. I only raise spicy babies. That's it. That's the only thing that's happened over here is spiciness.
No, it's not spicy. She's
very spicy.
No, she's not.
Your sister's very spicy.
I'm confused completely.
Look, the Duchess is spicy, but it's behind the veneer of the Duchess, and that's where it's most lethal.
Right.
Jackie Fresh just drops bombs and doesn't care.
Yeah, there's no hiding.
It could be worse. Your daughter could be petty, where you tell her, "Yeah, this is Celtic and Rangers." She'll just sit down and go, "I like the blue team," and then get up and walk away.
That's awesome. I knew I liked her.
Ivy Board dropping bombs during Old Firm.
I knew I liked her.
All right, I've got to get this one. He's got actual in-person school tomorrow, so I got to close out my end.
No, I have to beat him in soccer. He's just scared.
That's accurate.
Yeah,
Twice
because
last
you were
night.
using Boca Juniors.
I used Boca Juniors, and you were using the FIFA All-Star squad, and then you used River Plate, and you still got ran. So, for
The other thing, I get ran in soccer because that's all you play, but I can still beat you in freaking, like, what is it called? Oh, yeah, it's called NBA 2K20 with hitting Shaq with threes.
oh my goodness! All right, you hear this?
Yeah.
You hear this?
Someone's timed out their green bar, is what I'm hearing. Someone has perfected the timing of the green.
He has perfected the
And I
time.
respect it.
And then he yells Irish green, 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 green.
Irish green, bing, bing, bing.
For every time he puts up a shot, that's all we hear. So hold the phone there. I've got to go. So thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. And this guy. So can you say bye to everyone?
Bye, I'm Russian.
Okay. All right. So he's Ivan Drago now. So
I'm Ivan Drago, and I must
Mucha
break
Euro, y'all. We're out.
I must break you.
Got it.
Send help to Nick's house.
Yes.
First off.
No, don't. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we might not hear from Nick again. First off, we need to understand that. It was nice knowing Nick. The last Turner Kirby asks, "What about Christian Pulisic? Where is he playing on September 1st?" And we'll come back to Holland here in a second. Pulisic, I don't think he's at Chelsea.
No.
I still
Where
really
do they loan him to?
I still
Barcelona?
really like the Barcelona idea. There's nothing behind it, John. It's not like, I mean, this was a random thing I said on the show, and I'm kind of talking myself into it. I don't have any inside information.
Oh, I know.
There's nothing to go on here. It makes some sense, but there's nothing in it. So let's not act like it's a easy
No.
call.
I was restating your previous theory.
Yeah, I don't think he's at Chelsea. Barca would be very interesting. Michael Ruiz brings up Atleti. He's an interesting one because, I mean, you get him on loan, there's a bunch of teams who might take that. If Nick survives Burned, we'll ask him what he thinks about Pulisic to Juventus. That would be one that could make sense on loan, too. And Pulisic would not count as a non-EU player. That would help in Italy, especially.
What about back to Dortmund on loan?
That's possible.
Yeah, especially, back to Dortmund maybe.
It's possible. I'm gonna go just because I really want to wish this into happening. I'm gonna go with Barcelona. I think they're not going to get some of the guys they want to get, and they're going to have to get some help, and they get them on loan. Like, they want Memphis Depay. They want, 5 different players. They're not going to be able to sign all of them. They'll take a loan with Pulisic.
Jarrett, what do you think?
I'm trying to talk myself back into a Dortmund loan.
That's not
I
bad.
didn't think of the Barcelona thing. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a loan, though. Like, Chelsea's not going to sell him because they'd lose money on that deal.
Yeah, I don't think they sell him now.
Who in England could use him? Who would he fit with in England? Would Italy make sense? None of the French teams really make sense, do they? Who else in Spain?
Italy really could be interesting.
Send him to Napoli to play under Gattuso. Let's watch that happen.
If Gattuso's there, but yeah, that's not a bad one.
That's a good caveat.
I would really be on board with that. I would like this if this is a possibility. And it's a tough one because I think it's really hard to call. But I don't think he's at Chelsea. I feel good about saying that. I just don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
A place like Lille, maybe, if we wanted to get weird.
Maybe.
I don't know if they got the money.
I would think he could do better than that. I think
he goes back to Germany.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible. A couple other things before we wrap up. I have not had the Honduras-El Salvador game on Burned. He says it is not very good.
It is not very good. I have it off for the left shoulder, and I just glance at it occasionally, and it's not very good.
I am not surprised. Bernd also says that Dortmund doesn't necessarily have to sell Erling Haaland. They can hold out for a crazy price. Bernd doesn't think anybody will pay a crazy price this summer if they can get him for 75 million euro next summer. I think if they get into the Champions League, I would agree with you. If they don't, unless things have dramatically changed for them financially, or they say, we could sell X, Y, and Z and bring in 50, 60, 70 million dollars selling a few different guys, and that's going to be okay.
Ooh.
Then maybe they don't sell him. But I think they sell him. So I think somebody hits a number that's crazy enough for Dortmund to get to. What is it, Jarrett?
What about Pulisic to Leicester on loan?
I don't think Chelsea would help Leicester. Why would they?
I would like to see him under that team, though.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I couldn't see them helping.
Yeah, anybody that
rival.
close to you in the standings.
Yeah, if they loaned him anywhere in England, it would be bottom half of the table, and then I don't think he would take it. He shouldn't. I think he could get something better.
Yeah.
D. Graham says he doesn't go to Dortmund. How do you play Reina and Sancho with him? Sancho might not be there, and if he's not, then and that's the thing with Dortmund is because when it initially came up about them needing cash if they don't qualify for Champions League and what they could do, it was initially, well, they could sell Gio Reyna, they could sell Jadon Sancho, they could sell 4 or 5 different guys and bring in $100 million or more. Sancho's a guy they could definitely sell, and if they did, then maybe they would be looking at Pulisic on loan.
Yeah.
Or if they sold Reyna, which could be a very nice return if they decide to go down that road, which they might. I think they might want to wait a little bit on it and see a little bit more of what he's going to be, but they might. The financials are going to get weird because, I think Byrne's right in that you don't have a whole bunch of teams that are going to spend a whole bunch of money, but you have a few that will.
Yeah.
And there's only so many players that fit the bill for those teams. Haaland is one. Mbappe potentially could be another one. You've got some guys that could command big salaries that could eat up some of that money that's available, like a Sergio Ramos, like a David Alaba, like a Lionel Messi. But it's going to be a weird summer because I feel like there's a couple of dominoes that are going to affect everything. Haaland is one. I don't even think Messi is. I think Mbappe, if he becomes available, if they don't do a new deal, and the longer they don't do a deal, the more likely I think it becomes that he's out. That could really change everything. Then you get into some of the guys that are available on a free and what could happen with them, and that could change some things. It's going to be weird. Burned on Pulisic and Dortmund says he wasn't that popular at the end. He was just a backup, and that always hurt. Doesn't think Dortmund would want him back. Maybe if they needed a player in that position, and I don't know what their depth is looking like behind the starters we're seeing. If they sold Sancho, if they sold Reyna, maybe they would want somebody back like him. That's a good point. I don't know. There's so many moving parts that are going to affect it. Like we go through this and we say, well, this guy's going to go here. But if that club does one other move or somebody else does a different move, then it could change all of it. Like Ronaldo will be an afterthought, but he could go somewhere if they don't get Erling Haaland.
Right.
You're not going to go and prioritize Cristiano Ronaldo over Erling Haaland, but you could say, well, we were going to commit this salary to Erling Haaland. We can't get him. Let's go get Cristiano Ronaldo instead, or let's go get Harry Kane instead, which is another one that could change things.
Yeah,
it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be really weird. The summer's going to be a wild one in terms of the window. A couple of
if you sell Kane, I imagine Son's going on the market too.
I would think so. That's what I said this morning. Is I think Tottenham should sell them both and get as much money as you can for two of them. If the money's good, if the money's right, and it might not be, but if the money's right, and you can get $200 million for the two of them, you can rebuild that club. You can rebuild it because as it currently is constructed, they're not good enough, and they're not going to get better. Like, it doesn't matter who's managing it. I mean, Jose hasn't done well enough. Jose should go. But that's not a team that is better than Manchester City, Leicester, Manchester United, Chelsea.
Nope.
Liverpool.
Nope.
It's not better than any of them. I mean, then you've got your West Hams and you've got Arsenal if they pop up in there. But I mean, Tottenham's not better than at least 5-6 teams ahead of them, and they've got to do something because it's not going to get better. They're as good as they can be. So sell off and bring in new faces. I don't know. It's going to be weird.
I am here for a Son transfer saga to see what the prices look like for him, though.
Yeah, I have no idea. The window's going to be fascinating. And as Byrne brings up, Europe's not far with vaccines right now other than the UK. So fans in the fall becomes a question. And if that becomes a question for Real Madrid, for example, they're out of the race. Like PSG, they can go find money, and they can still spend money. Real Madrid, If they're not going to look at fans coming back in the fall, I know they've been as frugal as you can be. They're not going to have any big money to spend. It's a really good point, and we just don't know yet. We just don't know where this is going to go. Does that open the door for some other, Americans coming from MLS or moves from MLS? Could be. A guy like Diego Rossi, be cheaper, maybe make a move like that. Not Real Madrid, but other clubs who are looking for deals. A player to keep an eye on, our friend Mataflo lets us know, and he's starting to get some pub in South America now, Pedro Vite at Independiente del Valle. You're starting to see players like that get looked at now. We'll get into it in the morning on the show, but it's an interesting article that Jorge shared on the Discord, tweeted it out as well, about Independiente del Valle is looking at doing what they've done in Ecuador, which is focus on the kids, develop the kids, sell the kids. That's the whole lifeblood of the club. Players come through, they do well, they sell them, they move on, they bring in the next kid. They're looking at doing that in Spain with Numancia. The directors of IDV are looking to do that and model it there. There is an opportunity at the moment. And this is the number one thing about all of this for me, is that you're going to see some clubs not take advantage of the situation, but take advantage of having to get creative. Maybe that means they lean on their academies more. Maybe that means they actually provide opportunities to the kids more. Maybe they find some diamonds in the rough. Maybe they then sell those players for a good return in a year or two. There's going to be some shakeups with this. Some clubs aren't going to get it. Some historic clubs are going to struggle to survive this and do well with it, and they're going to fall. They might not fall all the way down, but they're going to fall back. You're going to see some that jump forward because they handle it right, and they handle the challenges with this, and they take advantage of some situations that they find some new ways. They find some new ways of doing business. It could get really, really interesting. But that's a good point, Burned, and I haven't been following it super close. I mean, if they start to have concerns about fans in the stands in the fall, I don't know what that does for some of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have some clubs that just aren't going to be able to hit, big transfers. They're just not, and they're going to have to probably try to sell. But then it gets you to your English clubs. I mean, does that give somebody like a Leicester a huge leg up, where players might have went to Sevilla or Villarreal or Fiorentina when they were wanting to look at start spending money, Napoli, and instead they go to a Leicester, they go to a Villa, they go to a West Ham because the money will be good there and they'll have fans in the stands in the fall, you would think.
Yeah.
Could get weird.
I mean, for me, Leicester and all the loans that they've been taking out are a bit of a concern, borrowing against next year's TV money.
But they might have fans in the stands. It's not to say, I'm not saying they're in a good spot, but they'll be in a better spot than somebody who doesn't have fans in the stands in the fall and has taken the same loans out.
No doubt.
And the TV money is legit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no, they're not good, but they might be better than Fiorentina. They might be better than Sevilla.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy stuff, is it could really start to get flipped around and get weird. There's no telling. We'll keep trying to figure it out every day on the show. We'll be back in the morning. We'll talk more about Alan Franco. We'll talk more about Atlanta United. We'll talk more about MLS. We'll start to dig into MLS a little bit more and look at some of the position groups. We did that power ranking of the defensive groups a few days ago. We'll look at the midfields in the morning. Who's got the best midfield and who's got stuff they need to work on in the midfield? Who's got a midfield we don't really know where to rate yet? We'll get into that in the morning. 9 o'clock-ish on twitch.tv/soccerdown. Here, also on our app, which you can download for free for Android or for iOS. Jarrett, do you have anything final you want to say? You know, I'd already said it. He might have just left.
No, nothing constructive.
That's always good. John, any final words?
You'd rather be quiet than negative and sad, and I ain't breaking out the Cure album. So
Please don't. I'm not ready for that right
now. One last English snob note to wrap up on. For those that are into relegation scraps, League One, 6 teams separated by 2 points. 4 drop down to League Two. 2 of them stay. 10 matches to go.
Oof. Well, I will hit this to finish. So, Gustavo Medina on TNT Sports in Argentina had a piece on Alan Franco, and Felipe Cardenas tweeted out a little bit ago. Deal's not done yet. The reported offer has been pretty consistent, $2.8 million for 50% of the players' rights. There's a $200,000 bonus if Alan Franco wins MLS Cup and makes the league's best 11. There was another reported $200,000 payment after playing 15 games. Felipe also included that whether Atlanta acquires the other 50% of Franco's rights will depend on how well Franco performs. And that's from Gustavo Medina from TNT Sports in Argentina. It says, an interesting deal all around, which Atlanta United seems to have managed to their benefit. So this other 50%, remember, you don't have to acquire it. It just means that when and if you sell Alan Franco at some point, then you're splitting the money with Independiente. So, and if you want to do that, you can do that. If he does well and you feel like he's becoming more of an option, maybe there's certain numbers in there that you have to pay. If you want to re-sign him, maybe you have to buy him out. I don't know. These things happen all the time. These deals get really super creative in South America. So this one could get very, very creative. But it sounds like you're starting to figure out what the particulars look like now. Yes, I agree, Bern. Good luck. They'll get it done. He'll be here, I think. But what the actual deal is, this thing could be held together with paper clips and duct tape, and who knows where this other 50% goes and how it goes and when it gets paid for and if it gets paid for. I don't know. Welcome to South American transfers down here. We'll let you know if we learn anything different in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mucha plata, y'all.
Mucha plata, y'all.
Mucha plata, y'all.